two options they have. I might be tempted against India to go with experience. So to go with Hassan Ali. He's a tried and tested bowler. He's very good, bowls well at depth, bowls a very heavy ball, goes straight at the stumps, heavy length in the UAE. I might be tempted to go with him just because he's a little bit more experienced, and this, as we've said, is a massive game. So interesting to see which way they go. Mohammad Hasnain does possess a lot of pace. He played against us out here in England about 2 weeks ago, and he bowled well. He bowled with a heavy ball, bowled some really good Yorkers. But again, just in the cauldron of an India-Pakistan game, maybe for me, experience gets the call here.
All right, fair enough. Let's see which way both teams go. Now, before we leave you, let's get into one big talking point, which Gaurav Sundararaman, our senior data analyst, has dug up for us, for Mickey Arthur and Wasim Jaffer to just think about. So let's go to GS to see what he's got for us today.
Hi guys, today I have something very interesting, especially when it comes to Pakistan's approach towards batting. Very interesting stat that I picked out. I wanted to pick your brains on power hitting. Look at the contrast. Let's look at India and Pakistan. If you look at the balls per 6 overall, India's is 16, they score a 6 once every 16 balls. Pakistan score a 6 every 22 balls, which is a difference of 6. Great. I had a look at it. Then I went a bit deeper. Then I saw face-wise.
Here is where you start to find a bit of a contrast. In the depth, Pakistan scores a 6 once every 8 balls and India scores a 6 once every 10 balls. But in the power play, this is where I need to know what Mickey thinks. At the power play, India scores a 6 once every 18 balls. Pakistan scores a 6 once every 46 balls. That's literally 1.5 games. And then when you look at the middle overs, India scores a 6 once every 19 balls and Pakistan scores a 6 every 30 balls. Again, a lot of contrast. But when you look at the boundaries, it's more or less same. Boundaries in the sense just 4. I looked at balls per 4. When you look at that, it's more or less very even Stevens across the board. That means I think Pakistan rely a lot more on boundary hitting, 4 hitting than 6 hitting. I think that's one area I feel the data says that Pakistan need to improve. How will Mickey kind of solve this problem? The power hitting contrast of India and Pakistan.
Mickey Arthur, would you be concerned that the team is not hitting as many sixes in the power play or the middle overs, yet is getting scores and getting more boundaries? I wonder if you would be too alarmed by those numbers that GS put up.
Yeah, look, it is alarming, and I know when I coached Pakistan, those were things that we looked at in depth. With Babar Azam at the top of the order, he hits gaps. He hits good cricket shots. Because he is a 6-hitter. When he gets going, as I said before, he hits balls in different areas, but he hits them over the boundary. It's interesting, the stats at the back end, and I think we've seen with Kustal Shah and Asif Ali coming into the equation now, they have that ability at the back end to hit sixes, but with Rizwan, Babar, etc. at the top of the order, they are boundary hitters, but the boundaries generally become 4s because they hit proper cricket shots. It is an area that they need to look at.
All right, final question then. Chasing remains the advantage, the exception being the India-Hong Kong game. So are India favourites, Mickey Arthur, regardless? Or would you reserve that call for when you see the toss decide?
No, I'll reserve that call. I think in 2020 cricket with both these sides, I think fairly evenly matched. I think they each have their strengths and weaknesses. I'm going for a 50-50 game. Sometimes in pressure games like this, runs on the board are not a bad thing either. So I don't think the toss is going to be massive. And this is a very much an even Steven game, 50-50 for me.
Wasim?
Yeah, I think so. Both teams are evenly matched. With Ravindra Jadeja not being there, even though we've got a very good replacement, but I still feel, there are two really good teams and they have to play well. They made a mistake when they played before. So I won't call anybody favorites there. I think both teams are looking pretty good.
Nicely fielded on the boundary. There'll be one run here for them.
And with that, they're off the...
Yes. They'd look for a couple here.
Brilliant throw-in from the deep caps.
What would you be discussing in that Pakistan camp now as they gear up for far stiffer opposition? India on Sunday, followed by Afghanistan, who are red hot at the moment, and then Sri Lanka.
Really good timing out of the middle.
I think the positives are you've got to look at the batting again. Rizwan some runs, but more importantly, runs for Fakhar Zaman, which is important, and Crystal Shah finishing really well. So those are the positives. We still haven't seen the likes of Asif Ali and Iftikhar back for a long enough period. So you do feel that if teams get amongst them early, those guys haven't batted for a significant period of time. But then I think you'll see a lot of confidence taken, particularly with the spinners. I thought the seam bowlers bowl well against India. So we know Naseem Shah, Shahnaaz Dani, and Haris Rauf. We know that they quality performers, but I think the two spinners got some quality spells into them, and they'll take that confidence into the next run. Pakistan will get on the team bus tonight, incredibly happy with their day's work and feel that they're adequately prepared for the bigger challenges that are going to come.
All right, GS, fair to say that this is further just validating what we already knew of Pakistan's T20 side, even without Shaheen Shah Afridi, their strength remains their bowling?
Absolutely. I think, yes, the bowling is really good, and that's why I guess with their batting, 160 is something they aim for, because they know their bowling is extremely good. They took India also by surprise, I think, and a lot of people thought India would win that game easily. It was a very close game. So it's going to be very, very exciting to see how they turn up for the remaining matches of the tournament, because there might be days when they may have to defend low scores, and we have to see if their bowling comes through, and there might be days when it might be the other way around like today. So we'll have to wait and see how this team basically faces the Super Force. But yes, bowling is their biggest strength, and just some things we were discussing today. Rizwan, he performed. Shadab Khan, I think all his wickets were the googly, if I remember right. So yeah, he's the top of his game right now.
Oh my, that's a great doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
It was one.
Yep. Got all of it, and for 6.
That's a brilliantly... Nicely played.
I guess this is the kind of win you just want, Mickey, going into the Super Force.
Yeah, exactly right. You don't want anything too close. You want your players to get confidence. You want to test your game plans. You want to make sure your game plans are good. And Pakistan will take a lot from today. They're really well. I thought the way those spinners dictated terms through those middle overs was outstanding. And 7 wickets between Shadab Khan and Mohammad Nawaz. They just showed their quality. So fantastic performance. Pakistan will be really happy with that.
I mean, it's almost like I put the curse on Hong Kong, Mickey, didn't I? I said they're not the kind of team that are bundled out for low 2 figures and have big margins of victory. And today this is what they've managed, 38 all out, 155 run margin victory for Pakistan. Do you sense it was just a punch in the gut, that last over where they went, geez, here we go again? Do you think that's what the game just, Hong Kong just lost it?
Yeah, I think so. And Pakistan certainly took that momentum into their bowling. I just think that Pakistan bowling attack is quality, though. They have serious pace with their quicks.
Their spinners are top quality. And let me tell you, we played a qualifying game last year in the T20 World Cup when I was with Sri Lanka that we had to qualify. We played Holland, the Netherlands, in Sharjah on a wicket that was very, very similar. We got runs on the board, and I think we bundled the Netherlands out for about 46 or so. And it was a very similar pattern to today's game. For the associate countries, it is tough. When the wicket looks like that in Sharjah, it is really tough to bat on because it skids onto you. Now we saw the googlies in that turn a little bit, but generally when the wicket looks like that, you'll find the Pakistan bowlers not leading the stumps. So they're making you play every ball, and that's kind of what we did the last time we were there, and the associate sides did battle with that. So Pakistan will be very, very happy.
That's great fielding. That ball was flying.
Exquisitely down the front foot.
The innings wraps up with a very defendable total. It will need some good bowling.
It is Super 4 time, and the game that kicks off this phase of the tournament is the one that kicked off the main round of the Asia Cup. That is Sri Lanka against Afghanistan. Sri Lanka have to get back to business after the highs of beating Bangladesh against an Afghanistan team that brushed them aside and made light work of them on the opening day of the tournament. So, on Qatar Airways presents ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout. Farwez Maroof on the key points that Sri Lanka need to address, and Gaurav Sundaram, senior data analyst, will tell us what the big discussion point is. Right. First question will be to Farwez before I even get to GS. The memories of that, let's call it absolute thumping win by Afghanistan and Sri Lanka are still fresh, Farwez. Is there an intimidating factor? Can Sri Lanka put that game behind them?
Yes. Super piece of timing.
Definitely, it will be intimidating factor. This is where the Sri Lankans will be, the character will be tested. I think they got enough quality, enough experience in that team to overturn the tables, what they went through in the Dubai game. All in all, it's a new start, fresh game. It's all about starting well. And yes, Afghanistan going into this game firm favorites for me, but still, I think Sri Lanka has got what it takes to beat the mighty Afghans.
All right, fascinating that Farwez points out that Afghanistan remain favourites here. Remember, this is the consequential round of the tournament. GS, numbers. What have you dug up? What are the patterns and trends? And what's the big question ahead of this Super 4 encounter?
Yeah, I think when we talk about Afghanistan, we always look at the spin contingent, right? All these years, it's Rashid Khan, Mohammad Nabi, Mujibur Rahman. We talk about them, even the guys who get picked up in the IPL, for example, it used to be Zahir Khan, Noor Ahmed. These are the guys who generally get picked up. But of late, I see a slightly different trend. Afghanistan pacers are doing extremely well. In fact, this particular year, since the last T20 World Cup, they have the best economy rate among all the key nations, right? Yes, there is a caveat there. They play against the weaker nations. They play Ireland a lot, and they play the other associate nations. They don't get to play enough T20I bilateral tours against the top nations. So that is why these tournaments are very, very important for Afghanistan. If you look at their economy rate, it's just 7.68, the pacers. And I think you have to give full credit to Afghanistan for developing that particular area, which was considered a weakness for them. With Farooqi, Naveed Haq, things have become extremely good for them. They've kind of delivered. They have good variety in the attack. Maybe the only role which they need is an out-and-out 140 plus quick, and I think that is just a matter of time before they find that. Whereas in contrast, when you look at Sri Lanka, they've had their worst year as the fast bowling unit. Yes, you may argue right now they don't have the best fast bowlers. But when you look at the 1 year data, which includes the likes of Chamira and the others, they still go at about 9.06 runs an over, and they average 37. Afghanistan average 19. So that's a huge difference in terms of wicket-taking ability also. And one last point, the dot ball percentage with Sri Lanka bowl is just 29. So that's very low in a T20 match. And Afghanistan gave about 37%, which is among the highest. I would say the benchmark is 40%. That's what I usually look at from a bowling point of view. And is too less.
Okay, so that brings me to two questions I've got for Farvez. Let's start with the Sri Lanka attack. We'll come to Afghanistan in a moment. Farvez, they may have ended up on the right side of the result against Bangladesh, but we must acknowledge death bowling remains a question mark and a concern. Do they tinker with their squad? Do they have anybody who can solve those problems? Or is it about the Shanaka bowling? Your thoughts on Sri Lanka's pace attack?
Doesn't want to bowl it there.
I think at the moment what is best was in show yesterday's game. I think Matish Patina is still raw to be the leading fast bowler. If the Fernando can do that job, I think certainly he can. He has the experience playing in international cricket for a while. Dilshan Madhustanka is still raw again. He's someone that just wants to bowl quick. I don't think he has the plan B to go, and if he does even have it, he doesn't have the experience to execute it. So that's where I think he can be found wanted. But overall, I think I don't see much changes happening. But remember, we are playing in Sharjah. The pitches are slower. The spin bowlers will have a bigger say than the fast bowlers. So Sri Lanka might think of bringing in another spinner. Maybe up in Sharjah, getting Dasun Chanaka to bowl at least 2 overs or 4 overs. Yes, I did mention Dasun Chanaka has to take the responsibility of bowling in the crucial overs.
Yes, you mentioned it's a tactical game. You also rightly bring up this is Sharjah, where we've seen spin play a bigger part than pace. But Sri Lanka's top order will have memories of Fazal Farooq and Naveen dealing severe blows in that opening game, Farvez. So what is the approach from Sri Lanka's top order this time? We've seen GS point out high dot ball percentage, but given the spinners are going to be a big threat, is the approach from the top order going to be let's take on Farooqi and Naveen even though it did not work in the opening game?
Right out of the middle.
I think conditions will be different, Ronak. I mean, up in Dubai, there was some grass and there was some bounce. I don't think that is the possibility up in Sharjah. It will be slow, it will be low. I think that's where the openers have to make their own pace. And we saw in the Bangladesh game as well, Mohammad Naeem and Anamul Joy was trying to come down the track even for the fast bowlers because there's lack of pace. So I think for Sri Lanka, as DS pointed out, it's all about rotation of the strike. I mean, when you do that, I mean, run a ball, every ball, put the pressure on the bowler. It's not easy, especially when you have a left-hand, right-hand combination. So Sri Lanka got to be smart. Rashid Khan, Mujibur Rahman, one of the best, two of the best bowlers in the world cricket at the moment. If Sri Lanka plays it smart, not giving them much wicket, the 8 overs, if they can plan out to play a runner ball, something close to 48 runs or 45 runs, not give much of a wicket, maybe 1 wicket for both the bowlers. I think rest of the bowlers can be targeted, and a 150, 160 up in Sharjah will be a very good score.
Let's look at another interesting observation that GS has dug out, this time from a bowling point of view. What have you got for us for Shadab Khan, GS?
Right now, when you look at Shadab Khan, I think he's bowling at his peak. The one data point I don't have, sadly, is the speed data. That's where I would like to get Nikki's opinion, whether is it something to do with his speed or is it something to do with his technique? Has he changed something for him to be so effective this year? Among all the years over the last 5, this is his best year. And finally, what kind of deliveries get wickets? Leg break or googly? Again, the stats are very similar. He gets 15 wickets at 6.83 with his googly. He gets 30 wickets at 6.96 with his googly, with his leg break. So basically, there isn't a major weakness. I think it has got to do with the speed, but I would defer to Mickey on that.
Mickey?
Yeah, yes. Again, your stats are amazing. I thought when Shadab Khan started, I thought he was just a little bit too quick. He bowled the ball into the wicket a lot. He relied a hell of a lot on his googly, and I think he's become a far better bowler because he's learned to bowl the leg spinner. And I say that almost tongue in cheek, but he's learned to bowl it up and over. So he gets it above the batsman's eye line, and with him doing that, his speed on his stock delivery has decreased a little bit. So when the wicket's turning, he has the ability now to take pace off. And when he takes pace off, his leg spinner turns a lot more now than his googly. Because at the start, when he bowled it quick, everybody set up for his googly because that was his wicket-taking delivery. And now he kind of got them both. He's become a far better because he changes his speeds, and that's made him the all-round package. So it's not surprising for me that his stats now are far better now than they were at the start. He's a very, very fine bowler, though. Very fine bowler.
Before I pose my follow-up to Mickey, I want to ask JS, is this usual or is this normal for leg spinners, JS, that the difference in left-hand and right-hand batters is what I think fairly insignificant? Difference of average is around 3, difference in strike rate is 3. Is that normal, or do you normally see a bigger gulf when leg spinners numbers are shown against?
You usually see a bigger gulf.
Yeah, so what is...
We usually see a bigger gulf.
Is he a rare commodity then, Mickey, in a way? We tend to think of the matchup and we think a number of captains don't bowl their leg spinners to left-hand batters, even though there is the googly, and we know that most leg spinners should be fine to bowl to any sort of batter. But is this unusual, and what makes Shadab Khan as effective to both styles of batters?
I think Shadab Khan, again, as I said, I think he's a wonderful, wonderful bowler. The one thing about Shadab Khan that goes under the radar is he thinks so much about his game. He's a cricket student. He understands the batsman that he's bowling at, but he also understands situations so well and reacts to those situations. He's certainly got a lot of leadership quality. And that comes out in the way he approaches and constructs his overs. Again, wonderful cricket brain. Early on, when he started again, he was a bit quicker and he relied too much on his googly. I always used to get frustrated with him because he used to go leg spinner, googly. And I was kind of the impression, even in shorter form cricket, that I felt that he should be just a little bit more patient because his googly was the X-factor ball. And if he bowled that X-factor ball every ball, then that X-factor diminished. And he's slowly starting to learn that now. And look, he's just going to get better and better.
An innings that promised much.
It's a long way. Absolutely nailed it.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand.
But we'll focus on Mohammad Rizwan for a little while, shall we? Yes, you've done your digging and you've found out trends, patterns, stories. So talk to us about Mohammad Rizwan. What's your observation today?
He's a banker. I know he's going to score those runs, but in the middle overs, can he take it to 140, 145? Can he do something like what Surya Kumar Yadav did the other day, right? Once you've settled in, you want to come and hit some ball one off the middle overs so that you can kind of give some impetus to the innings because you're settled, you understand the pitch. And also when you're batting first, when you don't know a target, that is when we need Rizwan, the middle overs batter. I want to ask Nicky what he thinks, whether data tells some kind of story of his mindset.
I think he needs to take a lot more risk, particularly through those middle overs, because he's good enough. You know, he sweeps well, he runs incredibly well between the wickets, he cuts. He's very efficient with both front and back foot. There's no reason why he can't up that middle over strike rate to something like 140. Because he definitely is good enough. The only thing I think that perhaps might restrict him and compound him in that is perhaps the role clarity that he's been given. Perhaps they've wanted him to take the innings just a little bit deeper and have the guys hitting around him. But in terms of talent and in terms of form, there's no reason why he can't get that strike rate, particularly in those middle overs, up a little bit.
Vicky, do you think that he values his wicket a bit too much in T20 cricket, both him and Babar? Do you think that they should look at it more like a format where they can afford to lose their wicket for taking those extra risks?
Yeah, yes, they're certainly good enough, you know. So again, for me, if I was in that dressing room and coaching them, they certainly can't be going at the same pace. If they're batting together, one certainly needs to be taking the game on a little bit more than the other, and they can determine that on the day. But certainly, that has been the slight problem, is that they both bat at that same pace. Saying that, they've both got very, very good records. But a little bit of diversity, certainly in overs 7 to 15. And that's something that's been targeted by a lot of teams. Because if you break down overs 1 to 6, generally people score in and around the same amount of runs. And then generally from over 16 to 20, the death overs teams, and I'm talking about the best teams in the world, are generally doing the same. It's over 7 to 15 that defines the good and the great. And that's where I think they can be just a little bit more adventurous.
Great fielding. That ball was flying.
Exquisitely down the front foot.
The innings wraps up with a very defendable total. It will need some good bowling. It certainly won't be the easiest total to chase. Few early boundaries. The bowlers will only need a sniff to get back in the game.
I wonder what the takeaway would be, Sharjah. They're proud in the Asia Cup. They've been the runners-up in the last two editions of the tournament. Today was an interesting day. The contributions or the spotlight was stolen by players other than Shakib, Mushfiqur and Mustafizur Rahman. I wonder if that's a lesson for Bangladesh going forward, whether they need to build their T20 team around the likes of Afif Hussain or Mosaddeq and maybe even Ibadat, and not necessarily focus on the 2-3 players that we know tends to happen in Bangladesh cricket.
Ronak, if you look back in last 5 or 6 years, Bangladesh has been a very consistent squad side in ODI cricket. Bangladesh has recently picked up in Test match cricket, but this is the format which Bangladesh is a bit behind. I must agree. From this tournament, what Bangladesh can take is the way they batted today. The Bangladeshi batters, the confidence they showed. This is how you need to play T20 cricket. Fearless, with a lot of big heart. Both there try to so this can be a starting point. Bangladeshi batters can look back and say, okay, this is how we are going to approach the T20 matches. Eventually, in 6 months or a year or 2, Bangladesh can become a good T20 side. If think about fielding, I must say Bangladesh has improved a lot in fielding. If you can remember, we were discussing Bangladesh's fielding last World Cup. If you compare with the last World Cup of this tournament, Bangladesh's fielding has been very impressive. And we want to see Bangladeshi boys carry on this improvement in terms of bowling. Bangladesh has a lot of things to do here. Bowling, in T20 it's a specialist game. Bangladeshi bowlers needs to learn very quickly. Needs to learn the tactics. In the first few overs in today's match, Bangladeshi bowlers bowled brilliantly, I must say, but it's a dead bowling which hurt themselves against the Afghanistan match, and it hurt today as well. So, first of all, you must learn, but this can, batting point of view, this can be a starting point where Bangladesh can build at the team, and I'm very happy for the young guys who raised their hand up and performed in this tournament. Afif, if you think about Mosaddeq, he has been a gem. The next coming days, Litton will be the part of this team. Chauhan will come back into the squad. So Bangladesh has quite a few young guys whom the team can be built around. So as the challenge will be how fast they learn. If the boys learn quickly, I think the only thing the way Bangladesh can go is go forward.
Great shot, but it's not going to beat the fielder.
There was a bit of width on that, and they've climbed into the shot to set.
Times it nicely.
Had all the time in the world to get in position to play that.
He took a bold call to bowl out his premier bowlers, like Farvez says, at the 17th. He would have left 2 overs of off-spin in the last 3 and 1 over by the debutant Ibadat Hussain. Now, did Shakib Al Hasan get his tactics wrong?
A real beauty.
It's a very good Ibadat, one more over when he was bowling brilliant. Ibadat is a new guy. He should have finished Ibadat earlier. Other than that, he was trying to take wickets. That's why he bowled himself. He bowled out Taskin and Mustafiz kept 3 overs for the other bowlers because he was trying to take wickets. But only plays he could have done differently, bowled Ibadat out, because Ibadat is a new guy. He is not tested, even he is not known for his T20 bowling. So he could have bowled his quota earlier and then kept 1 over each from Taskin, Mustafiz and Mahdi. Mahdi is a bowler who bowls in the death overs. I don't mind bowling in the last over, but Ibadat last 2 overs he gave up a lot of fun because he is not experienced.
Now, is it a real sin today for an off-spinner, especially to bowl front foot no balls? It cost Kushal Mendes a life. It's later cost him the game. Who knows what would have happened in the last couple of balls too? Would you put that down to inexperience or just lack of preparation?
Right out of the middle.
Spinners bowling no ball, there will be no experience. But I think it's the pressure of the game. Pressure, Bangladesh knew that if they cannot pull that off, there has been a lot of criticism about their T20 performance from the fans, from the media, from every experts. So I think the pressure, but still, spinners bowling no balls, you cannot do that. Ibadat, he bowled 2 no balls. That is inexperienced, but still he has been playing cricket for a long time. So those no balls hurt Bangladesh anything. Wide balls, I understand you are trying hard, but 4 or 5 no balls to the close match, it is unacceptable. Bangladesh made some mistakes which are major, but Sri Lanka was brilliant with the bat today.
Staying ahead of the game. Goodbye from all of us in the commentary box. See you soon.
I'd like Farvez to just talk about, I didn't think this question would come your way, Farvez, Asita Fernando's batting abilities. Guy who's got a highest T20 score of 9 and a first class average in 50 games of 4.91, has hit 10 of the most priceless runs Sri Lanka could have imagined from 3 balls after Chandrika Karunaratne was run out, and you think that's it, that's the end of the batting. Did you know Asita Fernando could bat or at least hit a couple of boundaries if needed?
I almost switched it off when almost switched off my TV when Chandrika was run out. But I mean, Asita Fernando is a boy, is someone I can easily call him a warrior. He has done very well in domestic cricket. He has earned his place in the national team. But if you ask the same question before the game started, whether Asita Fernando will be the hero in batting, I will give 0 chances for that, because you don't expect your number 10 to be the hero. So that's sort of a game for Sri Lanka. I mean, you throw out a debutant, bowl pretty well in the first couple of overs, and finish off the game with the way he did.
Farvez, I wonder how you would sum up the Kusal Mendes innings that was filled with chances. Dasun Shanaka, who kept them in the game but could not just see the job through. I think he hates off-spin, and looking at the numbers that were given by our stats team, and that's 9 times in 98 balls or something that he's fallen to off-spin. Hates the off-spinner. But what about those 2 innings? How would you sum them up?
I mean, at the beginning of the tournament, I mentioned to you that Kusal Mendes is the best opener we have at the moment in the setup. So I think Sri Lanka banks heavily on him give a good start in the first 6 overs and carry on at least the 16th, 17th over. Yes, he had his own luck, but the way he was striking the ball, he was in magnificent form, and he made sure that one end was held on. The rest of the players could have played their natural game. Dasun Chanaka, I mean, the ball he got out to, it was right in the slot. On a different day, he would have hit to the second tier. So that's one of those occasions where Dasun Chanaka missed out. I mean, I still back him to finish off a game for Sri Lanka. I know how strong he is, and he has showed it even in recent past against Australia up in Pallakele, chasing down 60 runs in the last 3 overs. We have all seen it about him. But just that this team needed this win to go to the next level. Needed some confidence going into it. So I reckon even Dasun Chanaka, for his own confidence, not only as a player but as a captain, this win will have a lot of boost heading into the second round.
Yes, well taken in the slips.
There seemed to be a clear plan to take down Hasaranga. What did they do right?
And with that wicket,
They batted straight. They played proper cricketing shots. The wickets, 2 wickets he got. Mehdi Miraj playing across. Mahmoodullah Riyad tentatively sweeping one. Other than that, everyone batted straight. Afif kept himself very steady. He picked the googlies and the leg spinners. You stand the ground, wait for the ball and try to hit proper cricketing shots. And that is one thing. And number two, Bangladeshi batsmen were batting against other bowlers pretty well. So that confidence they brought when they were facing one in the Hasaranga. Hasaranga tried to bowl the googlies and floater ones, but he was picked, and Bangladeshi batsmen today, they were confident. They were standing ground, standing still. They had faith on themselves, and if they can continue every match, every now and then, we are going to see Bangladeshi batsmen doing this kind of stuff. Because the talent is there, the confidence was lacking, but Bangladesh batters batted with brilliance and confidence today.
Faris, did Hasaranga bowl badly? What explains Thikshana going at nearly half the runs that Panindru Hasaranga did?
I think he bowled decently, and full credit should go to the Bangladeshi batsman, as Sharjah said, the way the batsman handled Panindru Hasaranga. Also, I felt Panindru Hasaranga was trying to take wickets. I mean, that's where I think Mahesh Thikshana was bowling to bowl dot balls, and he was more happy to have 4 overs of 25 and probably 1 wicket, and he would have been happy. But with Panindru Hasaranga, some of the sixes being scored against him were flighted deliveries. So that suggests to me that he was trying to take wickets, flighting the ball. So I think that's where Bangladesh players did really well, and it's one of those days where Panindru Hasaranga was taken for plenty. Most of the time when he's on song, somebody can run through a batting line. But today, it went clear Bangladesh way.
too full, got what it deserved.
That really wasn't a great delivery.
Yes, huge shot. That's a massive.
Steered away nicely, let the ball do all the work for them.
There is enough riding on this game between Pakistan and Hong Kong. It is not only the last group stage game of the Asia Cup. Pakistan needs to just ensure that it is only a formality, that they join India and the rest of the big boys in the Super 4. So let's look ahead to that game on Qatar Airways presents ESPN Cricket 2020 time out. We hear from Nick Kayatha, the former Pakistan head coach at the moment. So to Robin Uthappa, who's in studio with me, watch that India-Pakistan game.
Given how they've been playing cricket over the last year or so, they've been a phenomenal side. You have to give credit where it's due, and they've played some exceptional cricket. But I think it'd be a great opportunity for them to be able to try a lot of things that Mickey was mentioning about the batting order. It would be the right opportunity for them to actually test that out.
All right. Now, Gaurav Sundararaman usually sends us a nugget or two which tends to get us thinking before a game. Let's see what GS has dug up through his research of data and stats.
It's very easy to pick faults with all these teams using numbers, but sometimes it's important to also lay down the strength of the team using numbers, and that's what I've done this time around for Pakistan. We saw their brilliant bowling performance against India the other day. It was superb. Naseem Shah, Shadab Khan, Mohammad Nawaz, all of them did their trick and took India, gave a great fight to India, even though it was a low score. It was possible because of their fast bowling. And Ronak, if you just look at their fast bowling strength over the last couple of years, it's been amazing. A lot of people have come in and gone out, but still the kind of success they've had is very good. Yes, they're missing Shaheen Shah Afridi this time, but I don't think they're missing him as much as we think they are, because their average since the last World Cup is 19.75, the fast bowlers. And Haris Rauf and Mohammad Hasnain and Naseem Shah are going to be instrumental in their success over the next couple of games as well. And even with respect to the spin, they're at the top half of the table. Shadab Khan, Mohammad Nawaz, both have been very good, and there's so much variety in this attack. So I think it's worth discussing a little bit about Pakistan's bowling strength, and are they one of their top bowling attacks in the world right now?
All right, fair. We always know they're a formidable bowling lineup, but they also tick a lot of boxes. It's the reason why they were such a fine team in that T20 World Cup. A lot of us thought they were the team of the tournament, even though they never ended up making the final. Nicky, they're missing Shaheen Shah Afridi, but do you echo GS's sentiments that this is still the most well-rounded, possibly the best T20I attack in the world?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think Haris Rauf has rounded that off nicely. I think they bowl exceptionally well with the new ball. Their ability to bowl depth is exceptional. And that is, the key for me is that they're all quick. They all bowl in excess of 140 Ks, which is important because we know pace. Pace frightens batsmen. Pace plays with batsmen's feet and gives them a little bit of indecision at the crease. So they have the ability to do that with their pace man, which is brilliant. Naseem Shah, Mohammad Hasnain, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Haris Rauf, Mohammad Wasim Jr., Hassan Ali when he's fit. They all over 140. So that is a real luxury for a captain to have. But I think the key to their attack is they have a very good wrist spinner in Shadab Khan. I think he bowls an exceptional googly, and he sort of rounds that off. And the finger spin now of Mohammad Nawaz has been excellent. So if you look at balance of attack, you've got a wrist spinner, you've got a finger spinner, and you've got 3 out-and-out quicks, of which one is normally a left armer. It's the perfect attack to have.
That pace still gets you and your brethren scared?
No, I actually like it faster. I have a problem with the slow one. Yeah. They actually bother me.
Yeah. In fairness, though, Naseem Shah on his T20 debut, we keep talking about Umran Malik and how pace excites. Pace can go the other way too. A lot of batters don't mind pace.
100%. And I think sometimes when you play these T20 games, you know that the wickets aren't very conducive to swing and seam, right? So the new ball can come fast, but they go hard as well.
Shahnawaz Dani's got something about him too. He's one of those that we don't mind watching just with some popcorn in our laps when a cricket match is on, Mickey. Now, whichever way the Asia Cup goes, I'm sure teams are also trying to take as many boxes before the World Cup. Shaheen Shah Afridi will walk into this team whenever fit and available. What's the rest of the pecking order? Suddenly Hassan Ali is back in favour. We've seen Hassan Ali at major tournaments and we see he has an impact, but suddenly he goes out of favour or blows hot and cold. There's Naseem Shah who's made an impression. Are Pakistan firstly playing their best bowling attack from what you saw against India? And what's the pecking order like? Would Hassan Ali leapfrog any of these young names?
Yeah, look, I think they are. I think you've got Shaheen Shah Afridi certainly at number 1. I think Haris Rauf is at number 2. I think going on the last game, as Robbie said, I think Naseem Shah was really good. So he's probably slotted in at 3. And then you'll have Shahnawaz Dani, Mohammad Wasim Jr., and then probably Hassan Ali sort of rounds it off. He's been in and out of form a little bit, but he was one that a guy that I really enjoyed coaching. He was infectious, he bowled with a lot of heart, bowled with a lot of soul, and always ran in hard and gave you 100%. So they're very blessed there. All those bowlers bowl in excess of 140. But Shane Shafridi definitely the standout. So Shane Shafridi, Harris Ruff, Naseem Shah. That would be my 1, 2, and 3. And then that's rounded off by some very good spin and Shadab Khan and Mohammad Nawaz.
Really good innings to bring up the half century. Aggressive batting.
Picks up 50 with that shot. A great way to start their innings. Now's the time.
It's a kind of magic.
Nice timing, good batting, won't get to the bat.
What does this rivalry mean to Sri Lanka, to Bangladesh when these two teams play each other with everything that's happened in the last few years in the BPL, in the Nidahas Trophy and off the field? Parvez, you first.
Hello everyone. Nidahas Trophy, I think that's where it started. I mean, gone are the days, Shari and myself, when we were playing against each other. We never had problems like that. And we had our battles in the field, but off the field we are good friends, and we still remain the same. And unfortunately, it has taken another step with the press conference what Dasun Shanaka had, and it just put some petrol to the fire. So hopefully one team will come out flying, and the other team will be ruining the fact that they lost the first game.
Shahryar, please, your opening statements on this rivalry that's brewing.
It's fascinating. Like as Farvi said, it was never there. We were very good friends, still we are. But it started from Nidahas Trophy when same person coached Bangladesh, then changed side, coached Sri Lanka, and then it started. I have all the respect with all the senior cricketers, but I think at this moment what is happening, it's from and it's out of frustration. Sri Lanka has been one of the achieve something and you are not getting that, frustration build up, and at this moment I think this is some of those frustration talking. Apart from that, we have a very important match in our hand.
All right, now just to get you up to speed with what's happened in the last 24 hours, in case you've missed it, was even a question posed by Scott Styrus to Shakib Al Hasan at the toss switch. Sri Lanka and Dasun Shanaka won. They're going to be bowling first. That's a big advantage, you think, in Dubai in a knockout game. We'll come to that in a second. But to just put the last 24 hours in perspective, Dasun Shanaka in his pre-match press conference says Bangladesh aren't to be feared like Afghanistan, as they just have two world-class bowlers, referring to Shakib and Mustafizur. In response, Khalid Mahmood, the former Bangladesh captain and current team director, saying, well, at least we have two, Sri Lanka seems to have none. I think that's very witty, but is that considered to be, unhealthy, unpleasant? Farvez, Khalid Mahmood, what do we know about him?
I think first of all, Dasun Shanaka being that aggressive in a press conference surprised me. Usually he's not that outspoken, he's him to himself. And Chacha, Khalid Mahmood, he's somebody I've never seen him angry. I played against him. I've known him for a long time, playing Dhaka Premier League and Bangladesh Premier League. He's somebody usually very calm, very collective, always with a smile on his face. But after Dasun Shanaka's, what he mentioned in the press conference, whether he really meant it or he just said it on the spur of the moment, I'm not sure. Because I feel Dasun Shanaka is not the person who was in that press conference. He's not an outspoken guy. So, all in all, it's all fired up to this game, and hopefully, the entire world will see a good game.
Nicely fielded on the boundary. There'll be one run here for them.
And with that, they're off the mark. Yes.
They'd look for a...
Brilliant throw in the deep capsule.
both Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, in spite of being born and brought up on these subcontinent surfaces, do seem to struggle against spin. Now, we've heard about the argument that Sharjah has brought up about the type of pitches we have in Bangladesh. Is it as much conditions based? Is it about the type of batters that we're seeing? Let's go to Sharjah first up. Sharjah, is there a problem here with how Bangladeshi batters play spin? We saw it was a big part of their defeat in the game against Afghanistan.
Bangladesh, if you look at T20, it's not more of a technical issue, but I think it's a confidence issue. Bangladesh has been trying to settle a couple of openers since Tamim decided that he is not going to play T20 matches. Sometimes it can happen. If you I'm not comparing Bangladesh to any country, but if you look at England, one of the top test playing nations, has been struggling a lot to find a decent test opener. It can happen. Sometimes this kind of phase can go. Bangladesh, we play in wickets where there is turn, where you play a lot of spinners. But you know, batting against spin with a new ball, it's a different issue. And if you think about T20s, you always want to score. And if you go back to one-day cricket, Bangladesh is not struggling against spin, or Bangladesh is making big runs in the most of the matches. But it's the format T20 where you have to come, you have to score very quickly with the new ball. Batters are trying different stuff and missing out. But I'm pretty sure very soon Bangladesh will be able to figure out who is going to open, and I'm pretty sure that we have enough talent in our country where a guy will raise his hand up and say, okay, I'm doing my job, like Tamim has been doing for such a long time.
Parvez, your thoughts on the numbers and the points GS made?
Yeah, certainly GS have dived deep. I mean, this is the first time I've seen so much stats on spin bowling. So I think GS was spot on. This is not the problem only for T20 cricket for Sri Lanka. It's been an issue in Test cricket as well for the last probably 3-4 years. I mean, even the numbers in Test cricket will say the same. And GS mentioned about Charita Salanka and Dasun Shanaka in his little list he put up. I think Dasun Shanaka and Charita Salanka, good slog sweepers. When it comes to sweep, there are many sweeps: the paddle sweep, the conventional sweep, the slog sweep, the reverse sweep. That's where I think Dasun Shanaka and Charita Salanka are good at, especially using the slog sweep. And sometimes when they are in form, when they are confident, to reverse sweep. I think overall, as GS said, in T20 cricket, if you want to succeed against spin, you need to sweep. It's going to be tough work, yes, but sweeping is all about having a head position and picking the length of the ball. It may be a left-arm spinner to the right hand, but still you could sweep from square leg to mid-wicket if you have the head position right in front, and it's all about confidence. When you're not confident and if you're not making runs, sweep is a hard stroke to play for most of the batters. So I reckon it's about the attitude, it's about knowing which ball to target, and it's all about looking at these stats and improving, because the T20 World Cup is not that far away to improve.
That's a really good half century. Ensure that the strike rate is maintained and is pushed on really, really well.
Flew away with pace. Brilliant timing. Find the right spot. The reward will eventually come.
Afghanistan seems to be part of the T20 World Cup plans. Wasim Mohammad Shami, India have plans for the 50-over format for him and the test format for him. We've seen Arish flow hot and cold. He had a good game against South Africa in the home series, kept coming in and out of the side, went for runs, now suddenly goes for 50 odd against Hong Kong. What are your impressions on Arish Khan?
Well, I think when he hits the deck, Ronak, then I think he's somebody who's pretty good, but he doesn't hit that length very consistently. I mean, there were a lot of easy balls to hit, which is right in the batsman's arm. And the Hong Kong batters, had really easy. When Avesh Khan bowls that length, he's pretty easy because he doesn't swing the ball. He hits the deck hard. But if he hits the deck hard, that in between length, which is called the hard length, which comes about above the waist height, then I think he makes life a little bit difficult. But because he doesn't swing the ball, he's only very one-dimensional. So I feel, going forward in the tournament, I feel India will have to look at somebody like Ravi Bishnoi. He gives that option because Ravindra Jadeja, when you've got left-hander in front of you, we have seen that he doesn't complete his overs. And we've got Hardik Pandya who can bowl 4 overs. You've got Bhuvi, you've got Ashdeep. So you've got 12 overs, you're bankable 12 overs there. So you don't mind somebody as good as Ravi Bishnoi because it brings that surprise package because not many have played him, and he's very quick through the air. With big boundaries, I feel Ravi Bishnoi is better than Avesh Khan.
What seems if they can add to the conversation we were likely to have. India only played these many seamers or picked these many seamers. So if they have to make a change, it will be a spinner for a seamer. Would you go that way for the rest of the tournament?
Well, see, I have another angle to it. Now here's where you wanna make a decision about you want someone like Rishabh Pant to play, or you want someone like Deepak Hooda who can bowl you a couple of overs, in case there's a left-hander in the mix of the opposition, right? And then suddenly those questions crop up because today Virat Kohli filled in for an extra over, right? And you don't want to be in that kind of a position where you have someone like Virat bowling in a high pressure game, right? So I definitely think in the lines of Bishnoi, I think Bishnoi is a dangerous package to have. And I thought he would walk into 11. I thought India would play 2 fast bowlers, 2 spinners, and Hardik Pandya, and also Jadeja, so that means 6 bowlers in itself, right? So I think what Wasim Bhai is saying is right up my alley as well. I would go in with 2 proper fast bowlers in Bhuvi and Arshdeep, Bishnoi as a third as the second spinner option to Chahar, and Jaddu there, who'll squeeze in a couple of overs, and there's Hardik who can bowl your third fast bowlers 4 overs.
Just can't hit it any better than that. Drills it.
Out! What a catch!
If Virat is batting, I mean, I'm still worried about his fluency. That fluency is still not there. What we've seen him before. I don't think we are seeing that fluency yet, even though he got runs today. But if anybody is not batting at 140 or 150 strike rate with Virat Kohli, then I think India is in trouble. So you've got to have somebody who's striking far more, at much better strike rate than Virat Kohli. Otherwise, if Surya Kumar Yadav didn't happen today, India would have ended up with 150 or 160. And that would have been a dangerous.
Absolutely. I couldn't have agreed more with what Wasim Bhai said. I completely resonate with what he said. And I feel like if Virat's batting the way he's batting, then you need someone to bat at a much higher strike rate for India to allow that cushion for him to kind of get back into groove. We are so used to seeing Virat be in the past. I don't know how many more innings we can afford, especially if it goes into the back end of a tournament. You'd want you'd want that fluency to be back for Virat, and everyone desires that for him, and we hope that he finds it. But there has to be a line drawn at some point.
If you have to break his innings down today, which every now and then showed us glimpses of Kohli hitting sixes, and we thought, okay, is he finding his more stroke? What was missing? Was it the lack of intent often enough? Would you have liked to see him go harder more often?
Yeah, I think in the middle overs, I think the spinners, there is a point where he could have gone harder. But I think he chose that safer option because maybe he thought, there are the guys like Surya to come, there's Rishabh and Dinesh and all of those guys to come down the order. Maybe because of that he felt, okay, let me take it deeper. And then he was right in that sense because Surya came in and played the way he played, right? So there's a point where you say, how much can we afford this? And that seems to be popping up a little bit right now. And I think genuinely it was Surya who kind of saved the day for us in that sense to help the team get to 190. Because if this was a 160 game, India would have been under the pump.
Middle that one, great timing.
Off the front foot, hit it with all the power and elegance of a batter. It has been magic. Oh my. That was just textbook. Finds the screen.
Looking at the form Rahul's in, and the fact that Surya Kumar Yadav is batting 4 now, if the ball's steaming around like we saw in the Pakistan game, and you lose an early wicket like Rahul went, you swing no better than Kohli, right? Ball's moving around fast bowler. But he came in today in the 5th over. Let's say you got a super 4 game, and you got spin, big threat of spin in the middle overs. Would you be then tempted to change things up? If Rohit gets out, Rahul's still struggling. Let's
batting, you got to give him that time in the middle because that's going to give you runs. You got to give the guy with the best form the most amount of balls to be able to score runs for your team, right? At the end of the day, it's a team game, and you want to be able to give that guy, that bloke who's in your squad in great form, the best chance to be able to do that.
I mean, imagine Rashid Khan if the form is in was seen bowling here. What would you do if such a situation pops up? Would you say, yeah, let's be dynamic and flexible, we push Kohli down and bring in Surya Kumar Yadav or a Hardik or a left-hander like Jadeja?
Thanks, Mike.
I think that will be a good call. I think Surya Kumar Yadav, as soon as probably after the 5th over, if any wicket falls there or the first wicket falls there, I'd be tempted to put Surya Kumar Yadav because he's a very, very, very good player of spin bowling, and the way he hits in the other part of the boundary, you want him to come and play the spin more than Virat Kohli.
Yeah, it's like that AB de Villiers argument we had for RCB, right? If you hold him back, what if he doesn't get 20 balls at the end, right? If Rahul didn't get out today, sometimes you try and you know that.
Yeah.
Then what if he comes in 17th over? Yeah, the team's lost.
Yeah. As many lose crucial runs. Yeah. And that could be the difference between winning an Asia Cup and coming runner-up, right?
We did tee up KL Rahul, his rustiness, the tentativeness. What do you make of today's innings? Again, the fluency seemed to be lacking, fair to say?
Yeah, it did, but compared to what it was in Zimbabwe, it was definitely slightly better, and it's good to see him kind of crack a couple of sixes. You could tell that the rust was kind of coming off a little bit, but he would have liked to kind of kick on for after the 6 overs. And kind of capitalize that part of the game, because I think both Virat and Rahul played slower than they probably would have liked to in that period of the game. But it was good for India that someone like Surya came in and played the knock that he did, which propelled them to 190. But if that partnership kind of continued and Surya came on late, they probably wouldn't have got to 190. They probably would have got to 170, and those are areas of concern for India. But I think he would have felt a lot better than we did from watching him play.
You were mentioning, and I noticed this observation while we were watching the game, the type of bowlers that Harun, Arshad and Ayush Shukla are not necessarily what Rahul would ask for if he wants to strike back into form.
Yeah, it's actually tougher for guys to kind of find form when you're playing guys where the ball's really not coming on, and it must have made it a little harder for him. But having said that, he's a much better batter to the spinners than the way he batted today, and he would recognize that as well. And I think moving forward, he'd want to correct that and kind of address that as well, play with a lot more freedom when he bats to the spinners. And sometimes I think the best way to go about it is actually just go for it.
Yeah. He's not doing that while staying busy. So would that be the advice to Rahul? He may not have hit his top gears, but the best chance of that is go for it and not necessarily bat time. There seemed to be a desire to bat time today from KL Rahul.
I think you could understand him taking time today because it was one of those games where he can afford to take time. Against a better opposition, you won't see KL Rahul bat like that, which is understandable. So him taking time, I am not really that concerned because you want him to, bat a little bit of time, get that fluency back, get that rhythm back.
Doesn't want to bowl it there, overpitched and helped to the boundary. It was one. Yep, got all of it, and for 6.
That's a brilliantly aggressive shot.
Nothing that we haven't seen before, but every time we see it, we enjoy it.
Yeah, he's a delight to watch at the moment, the kind of form that he's in, and the way he's maximizing every opportunity that's coming his way. I think it's just a delight to watch. It's a great time for Indian cricket fans.
I'm sure there would be batters who would be saying it looks challenging, boundary hitting is not easy, and then Surya comes and does what he does. I don't know how that makes the other batters feel. Could you sympathize?
A little emasculating for sure. Because he comes up there and he bats like there's nothing happening on that wicket, right? And you have to consider and also acknowledge that the other guys who are batting there were not in the kind of best touch that Surya is in. So you got to consider that fact as well. And like you said, Virat played that sheet anchor role, but that period between the 7th and that 13th over, the way things were going, you felt like at 780 at the end of 10 overs, you felt like what's a good score? 70 at the end of 10 overs, what's a good score? And you felt like maybe they'll get to 160, 170, but it was that kind of an innings that takes that 160 and makes it 190, and then makes it a match-winning innings.
Wasim, anything about Surya Kumar Yadav's innings today that you hadn't seen before or that stands out even more for you?
No, I think I have seen it before, so that's why I'm not surprising. But he's doing that at international level, doing that to World Class bowlers. It's just that he hits to so many different parts, right from third man to the other way around, in 360 degrees, makes it so hard for the bowlers to bowl. He can hit him straight, he can lap you, he can play to the third man. I mean, somebody like that comes up against you in this kind of form makes bowling look very hard. Makes it really hard for the bowlers to bowl. What kind of length you bowl length ball. hit you over the bowler's head, then he can lap you. If the batters are playing in one direction, makes bowling a little bit easier compared to somebody like Surya. So he's just amazing, and that's why I feel really happy when he comes in at a 3 or 4 and not any lower. Because when Rishabh Pant was playing, he was slotted at number 5. So I think somebody like Surya needs to bat more overs. So when he's batting at 4, I think it's a good spot for him.
Few batters that we speak of in the 2020 game where we used to say they transcend conditions. Even if it seems tough for everyone else, this guy comes in, no matter what, it seems. AB de Villiers is one of those batters, right? You had the pleasure of playing alongside him. I don't know if Surya is getting into at least that category of conversation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, the thing about him is he plays angles that not a lot of people at this point in time play. You might see the game evolving to that place eventually, but he hits angles that like backward of square, and you're able to do, sometimes as batters we can do that to spinners, right? The guys who play sweep shots. But you see, he's got different angles with sweep shots. The first ball he came in, he knew what shot he was going to play, I think, even before he faced the ball. So he saw the fielder, he played that shot, and he knew the next ball, I'm going to play the same shot but at a different angle and play that even finer, right? And you knew as soon as he hit it, this is 4 again. And he does that not just to spinners but even to fast bowlers. And I think the ability to change shots, at the last minute, that ability is something that he's really taken to and he's mastering. I wouldn't say he's mastered it, but he's mastering at the moment. In the last over, when he went down to sit to paddle him or hit him over square leg, but then he bowled wide to slice that ball over extra covers for 6. That ability is unique.
Yeah, and it's going to be 32 in a couple of weeks, Wasim. Surya Kumar Yadav from his days early in Mumbai cricket too. The character as well, just the what he is mentally, seems like the kind of guy that isn't bothered if Virat Kohli or KL Rahul are struggling to go at 100, 120, not being able to hit boundaries. Normally the batters to come take their cues from what they say in the middle. Surya doesn't seem to be like that.
I think he's very confident of his ability. He's very confident right from the start. I mean, I've seen him from his under-19 days. He was one of those guys who used to play, the horizontal bat shots really well, especially to the spinners. And even now, now that he has mastered it even better, he plays that to the fast bowlers. He plays it almost, behind the wicket keeper. And now he's taken his game to next level. That confidence is even higher. So he's one of those guys. Even at the start, he was very unorthodox, but he stuck to it. Sometimes because in Mumbai we've got that batting. Right from Sunil Gavaskar sir to Sachin to Sanjay Manjrekar, we are told to play in a conventional way. But somebody like Surya Kumar Yadav comes up and he plays. He defies logic by playing this kind of cricket. Even in his Ranji Trophy, he used to play, late cut to fast bowlers to third man, or even sweep right from ball 1. So it was something which was not seen in Mumbai circuit, but then he didn't change his game. So, all credit to him. And now he's gone to a different level. And today's cricket demands, player plays in different angles, different directions. So, all credit to him for, sticking to his game.
Had to clear the front leg in order to get under the ball, and
that's right out of the middle of the bat.
That's what you pay the entrance money for. It's flown into the crowd.
Great shot. It's not going to be the fielder.
there was a bit of width on that.
The stakes have really been higher when Sri Lanka and Bangladesh come up against each other, but they will be high now. There's a lot of pride at stake, and there's a position in the Super Fours for just one of these two teams. Afghanistan sit pretty at the top of Group B. Who will join them? We look ahead to the big talking points of that game on Qatar Airways presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. Parvez Maroof and Sharjah Nafis will have a slightly restless sleep overnight, but before I get their thoughts, let's go to Gaurav Sundaraman, who will drive a conversation on what he's observed when it comes to numbers for two teams that have not started the Asia Cup as well as they would have.
Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are meeting in a decider. It's very, very important game for both teams. The winner will qualify to the Super Four. But both teams have a very, very similar trend emerging around us.
One of the key challenges that Bangladesh and Sri Lanka face is that with their opening pair and the power play performance. Since Jan 2021, it's very, very low. It's one of the lowest among all the test playing nations. Sri Lanka's batting strike rate is about 113, the openers, whereas Bangladesh openers strike at 101. And they don't even average so much. They average 22 and 16 respectively. Then I go one step further and look at their power play performance. Bangladesh strikes at 96 and Sri Lanka strikes at 102. And the average is also very less. What is more interesting, Ranak, is that the dot ball percentage, Bangladesh is 51 and Sri Lanka is close to 50. That means out of 6 overs, 3 overs are dot ball. That is too much for the top class T20 team, right? For both those teams are struggling at the top. The key aspect of that game is going to be who is going to win the power play. I think the team which wins the power play have a very good chance to win the game.
All right, brilliant as always from GS. So 2 batting lineups, fair to say, that are far from firing and far from not in the form that they would like. Let's go to Farid Maruf first up. Which Sri Lanka's batting? Let's talk about both personnel and approach. I had quite a bit to say, Farid, after that defeat to Afghanistan about his top order batters. Now we did see Nissanka and Mendes walk out, the 2 right-handers. So Gunatilaka bat 4. Firstly, are we expecting a change in personnel in this game against Bangladesh? And how would you change things up? Looking at GS's numbers, lots of dot ball percentages, poor power play, big pressure game. What would you tell that to?
Yeah, the good points made by GS there. I think it's all about character. I mean, GS was, he was spot on saying that too many dot balls in T20 cricket, more than teams who plays more than 35 dot deliveries, most of the time they lose games. That's why I think Sri Lanka and Bangladesh both hovering around at the bottom of the table simply because Cup with the World Cup round the corner, batting at number 4 was a huge risk. I mean, yes, he scored runs, but too much chopping and changing the batting order doesn't look good. And when it comes to change of personnel, I only see myself getting Dhananjay De Silva into this team. I'll tell you why. Because he bowls a bit of off spinners and he's very effective in the power play. With Shakib Al Hasan and the other left-hander opening the batting for Bangladesh, I think that's a tactical move that Sri Lanka can go. But apart from that, top 6, I don't see any changes happening. I think Dhananjay De Silva comes in. I have to make a call between Pathum Nissanka. I think that's the biggest call we can make, because Dhanush can open the batting with Kusal Mendes and have number 3 position to Charita Salanka, and Dhananjay could bat at 4, or Banu Rajapaksa can bat at 4. Dhananjay can bat at 5, and Dasun Chana can bat at number 6. So that's purely tactical, because Sri Lanka don't possess the off spinner against the 2 top order left-handers of Bangladesh. But apart from that, I'm not a big fan of chopping and changing too much. So, it's a very tricky call, do or die game, big game, pressure game. It's all about having that mentality of going out there and expressing themselves. And experienced players should come out and put their hands up in these kind of games.
All right, let's go to Shahryar Nafees now. And Shahryar, we did see a similar problem in that game against Afghanistan for Bangladesh's top order. Mujib and Rashid really spun a web around them. There were a lot of dot balls in the power play. You had Anamul Haq dismissed 5 of 14, looked like a struggle. He's going to be up against Thikshana, later Hasaranga. What sort of approach do you think Bangladesh should adapt differently from what they did in the first game?
The venue will be changed, so both the teams are going to play the decider in Dubai. First of all, Bangladesh needs to do all the basics right. Too many dot balls up front is not going to help us. If this similar situation comes, the batsman needs to stay there so that they can go to the last 6 overs with a lot of wickets. If you lose wickets early and then you try to build up the innings, you are not ending up scoring a big total. We have seen Pakistan scoring 148 and India chased down in the last over. So I'm pretty sure that this Asia Cup will not be a high-scoring tournament. I would love to see Bangladesh scoring somewhere on, if they bat first, scoring somewhere on 150-55. And I still believe Bangladesh has enough firepower to defend the total. And if Bangladesh bowls first, I want my bowlers to do the basics right. And if Bangladesh do the basics right in a crunch game, definitely the Sri Lankan, because they are not that experienced side, might make mistakes, and Bangladesh could catch it.
I just want you to tell me who goes into this game as favourites. Can we pick one? Sri Lanka or Bangladesh? Farvez?
I'll prefer the underdog tag.
Alright, so you're saying Sri Lanka is the underdog, so Bangladesh are favourites, and you prefer it that way. It's a very clever answer.
I'll prefer it that, because Sri Lanka plays well when there's nothing to lose, everything to gain.
I'm gonna go with my friend Parvez. We would love to see the underdog team and coming
So both of you want to be underdogs. Yeah, okay. This is awesome. So that tells me I have no idea who's going to win tomorrow after speaking to two of you. But thank you very much, Parvez and Shahryar. We will build up to this game on Qatar Airways presents ESPN Cricket for T20 timer. It is a big game, so do join us.
That's a long way up. Is there anyone there to catch it? Fine catch by the wicket-keeper.
An innings that promised much.
It's a long way.
Slight risk element, if I can call it that. Wasim, you saw two of Pakistan's bowlers come up with cramp in the last game. These are testing conditions. You've not given yourself a sixth bowling option unless we're going to watch Surya Kumar Yadav or Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli roll their arm over. Is this not a risky thing, getting Pant in for Hardik Pandya?
Doesn't want to bowl it there.
Well, I mean, ideally, if everybody is fit and stays fit, then all five bowlers will bowl their quota of overs. That is what probably on their mind. But like you said, if anybody gets injured, then who bowls? So that is a tricky one. But hopefully nothing happens like that. But like I said, you said, Huda probably is a good option. If you are thinking anybody to play other than your set players, then Huda probably gives you that option of sixth bowling option, and he's in a very good form as well. So if at all, I mean, you need to make a change. Probably Deepak Huda is that man to me.
When you look at what Deepak Huda has done since the IPL and before that even, it's a terrific player, he's a tremendous player, and he's not put a foot wrong. Everything you've thrown at him, he's taken it, and he's come out with flying colours. So for me, something like this does not make sense, because you've rested an all-rounder for the sake of his fitness. I get that, and that's beautiful. You want to protect a player like him, because he adds so much value that he becomes two players in an 11. Like Mickey was saying in the last game, he said it literally becomes a player like you're playing with 12, right? But when you take someone like, give him a break, you want to give someone who deserves an opportunity there, who's really in good striking form at the moment. You send him to open the batting in Ireland, he scored 100. Yeah. You send him in the middle order, you chuck the new ball at him, he bowled you maidens. So suddenly he's doing everything that you want him to do. And then when an opportunity like this comes at a big stage for him to play, he's sitting out. And that begs the question, like, what's the thought process? And that's $1 million question. Everyone would like to know an answer to.
Brilliant timing.
Saw it from the moment it left the hand.
Playing which they've managed. If they can find the right spot, the
reward. Very solid.
So let's get Wasim and Robbie to break that down for us. I guess the first thing that strikes me about that is just how often he gets bowled, and whether that tells you anything.
Well, that tells me that he placed very close to his body and sometimes too late. So we've known KL Rahul to be someone who plays the ball very late, and that's what makes him so much of a joy to watch, right? So in doing so, there are times you can play it a little too late, like what happened against Naseem Shah in the previous game against Pakistan. He tried to play too close to his body, but he was a little late on that ball. It skidded through as the first ball he played, and that ball hit his back and then ricocheted onto the stumps. So that's the tendency, I think, why he gets, especially when he's playing quicker bowlers, because if the slower bowler, he's got more time, he's watching him. Sometimes the quicker bowlers can come through a little bit, and they can hurry you up a little bit, and in trying to play the ball late, he'd probably end up, inside edging it back onto his stumps. So that can be one of the reasons. What is interesting is the fact that the stat that GS pulled out, that he said he gets out under 20 a lot, right? So for me, that tells me if KL Rahul gets 20 or 25 runs or more, you know that he's in for a long time. You probably will get him in the first 20 runs if you can, but if he bats longer than that, then you know that he's going to get a big score. And we've seen that trend with Rahul. Rahul is a very different player in the IPL compared to what he is in international cricket. He's a lot more flamboyant in international cricket, but not as flamboyant in IPL, but a lot more consistent in the IPL. So you also have to consider the fact that he's coming back to 100 days of not playing any cricket, right? And 100 days marred with a surgery, an abdomen surgery. Finished that, was recovering, got hit by COVID, that beat the life out of him, from what I know. And he came back, a little push for him to go to that Zimbabwe tour, but he made that push. He got there. Definitely rusty. Because when you take 100 days off from cricket itself, and then you come back, and then you're playing at the highest level, it's going to take a little while to get back into your groove. My simple question is, would you like an informed KL Rahul to open the batting with Rohit Sharma at the World Cup, or would you like anybody else to open the batting with Rohit Sharma in the World Cup? That, I think, the answer to that, immediately you want an informed KL Rahul, right?
It's a rhetorical question.
Yeah, it's genuinely a rhetorical question. So essentially what you want is to give the guy a go, to just get into form. Take his time, just spend time at the crease. Break that rust away. Get into your groove. Get that flow going. Get the rhythm going. Get your blood flowing. And once that happens, we know what KL Rahul can do.
Every fielder is asking the question. Superb delivery.
All round.
With the fall of that wicket,
Just can't hit any better than that. Drills it.
Afghanistan, from being a team to enjoy watching, like, and hope that they do well, have clearly shown that they are the strongest team, at least in that group, and have brushed aside Asian powerhouses like Sri Lanka and in more recent times Bangladesh. So what do we put that down to? Is this just a T20 team that has more bases covered, players that are playing T20 at a higher level and caliber than, say, some of the Sri Lankan and Bangladeshis, yes?
For starters, I don't have to take my Excel sheet out to calculate net run rates. Yes. That problem is solved, thanks to Afghanistan. Yeah, I think the exposure. For our viewers, there's another Afghanistan under-19 player who's been picked up in the BBL draft, right? So that shows that this team has quality. They're getting inspired by the Rasheeds and Nabis, and they're coming in and performing at the highest stage. So I think they have a lot of exposure. They play T20 cricket all through the year, which is another big thing, and information gets passed within the team. And like Najibullah Zadar is very underrated. He's actually played these kind of knocks time and again. Just because we don't see him in the IPL or we don't see him in the big leagues, maybe teams don't plan enough, or maybe I think they're very confident at the moment, and they feel that they can beat Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, even they can easily beat Pakistan also. India is the only team. They've taken them close 2 times. We've seen that in 2018 they tied, and in 2019 World Cup they were in a good position to win, but they were the ODI format. So they have to look at now all these oppositions as teams that they can definitely beat and go a step further. That's the next step for them. I think they know there are certain teams which we even, like, if you ask me personally, I had Afghanistan's favourites for both games. But again, when it comes to India and Pakistan, I still think they can challenge because their attack is very good against that Pakistan batting lineup, their bowling attack. But India as a team, I wouldn't put them as favourites.
Alright, fair enough. Now, before I carry on the conversation with Wasim and GS, and Shariat, Fair to say they play a lot less international cricket.
Yes.
Their players therefore play a lot more league cricket.
Yeah.
So is that sort of adding
And
up
if
now?
they play international cricket, it's a lot of T20s.
Yeah.
So that also helps them.
Yep. All right. Let's go to Wasim Jaffer now. Clearly a powerhouse in Asia in T20 cricket. Wasim, of course, India and Pakistan will be more formidable opposition, you think, but Afghanistan ahead of Bangladesh and Sri Lanka at this point.
Impressive batting.
I think so. I think if you look at their team and the two games that they have played, they've got spinners, they've got that box stick, they've got good fast bowlers, they've got very powerful openers in both of them. They've done really well, and they've got very good middle order, somebody who can finish the games well as well. So they've got most of the boxes ticked for a good team. So you've got to respect them, and like VS said, and I've said that all along, that these guys play around the leagues and they know this format in and out. So you've got to put them in the top three along with India, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Those will be my top three, I think.
Managed to get onto the front foot early and just enforce the mistake.
Middle that one, great timing. Unbelievable shot into the crowd. That's just flown off the middle.
You had Ibrahim on the one hand play the anchor, and you had Najibullah play the quintessential power T20 finishers. And how good was that?
It was very impressive. I mean, even Ibrahim Zadran played a perfect foil. He just, kept the chase right in the order. And then Najibullah Zadran came and did what was expected from him, what he is known for. And exactly what I spoke about the Bangladesh innings. Bangladesh would have probably batted in the same manner, 6-0. Little short of that chase, with that spectacular inning of Najibullah Zadran kept on. He hit 6 sixes where in the whole game you had only one other six. So it goes on to show their power, and they timed the chase perfectly.
What stands out about Najibullah Zadran's six hitting?
I think he just picks the right length, when he makes his mind up to hit, I think he commits himself to the shots, and he knows, most of the Afghanistan boys, they've got power. When they connect, it stays hit. So yeah, he knows his job, when he's coming in his last 5 overs, he knows he has to go. And he's been playing, like I said, most of the Afghanistan boys, they play T20 leagues around the world. So they know this format in and out. And Sharjah is not one of the biggest grounds. So a little bit disappointed with the Bangladesh bowlers, but the way Najibullah batted, even 10-15 runs if Bangladesh could have scored. They won with 9 balls to spare, would have been easy for them. But got to give credit to Najibullah Zadran. He showed his power, he showed his versatility with his hitting. Even that shot, that short ball bouncer. I haven't seen that kind of shot for a while. It's probably the first time I've seen something like that.
On Qatar Airways presents ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout. India have the chance to steal qualification to the Super Fours. A number of us think it's a mere formality. They've done the heavy lifting of beating Pakistan. All they need to do now is beat Hong Kong, with due respect. Let's look ahead to that game with Wasim Jaffer in just a moment. Before that, Gaurav Sundararaman is with me. The thing that he will have unique about this video is that he will know more about Hong Kong than most of us watching. So why don't you take it away as to what we need to perhaps give attention to when it comes to this Hong Kong side that made it through the qualifiers.
Yeah, UAE were also one of the teams which played the qualifiers, and they were tipped to be one of the favourites to qualify. They had some changes in the last minute with captain and
I guess that Hong Kong took good advantage of. But when you actually saw the qualifiers, Hong Kong won all the games pretty convincingly, and they have some really good informed players. So form is a very big thing in T20s, Jonas. And yes, it's a big game as long as they don't see India as a really big opposition and they play it as any other T20 game. You know, when the T20 the format is such that small things can go your way, and then who knows, you can cause an upset. This is the format where they can actually cause an upset. We saw that in the Asia Cup in 2018, where they really started off well. They had a long, big opening stand, but then, you know, the longer the game goes, it becomes difficult. So they have some really good stars. Babar Hayat, Nizakat Khan, and Hassan Khan. All of them are really good in form. They would hope that these big players who they're dependent on all through the year actually deliver in the big stage.
All right, Babar Hayat, of course, in the top 3 for Hong Kong. So too Nizakat Khan, their captain. They were among the runs in the qualifiers, with Hassan Khan, the off-spinner, who's having his best year as well. So these are some of the names from Hong Kong that India need to watch out for. Let's go to Wasim Jaffer now. Would India be looking at this as just an extended net session, Wasim, a chance to maybe rest a few players? The games in the Super 4s come thick and fast? Or no, should they take this seriously, even though, with all due respect, it is Hong Kong?
No, I don't see they'll be resting anyone. We'll probably see Hardik Pandya probably not bowling all his 4 overs like it did against Pakistan. You might see Avesh Khan bowl his full quota, or maybe Ravindra Jadeja, because they need to bowl their full quota of overs. But I don't see any, somebody resting in this game, because this is not a bilateral series. So they would want to play their best 11, but like Gaurav said very rightly, I mean, if at all anybody can cause an upset, it's in T20 format. The shorter the game, there are more chances of you upsetting anyone. So yeah, I don't think India will take them lightly, because they don't want to embarrass themselves. They just need to be, come right with the right frame of mind and not be complacent, irrespective of who they are playing.
All right. Now, speaking of Hardik Pandya, this is a nice conversation to have. I mean, we may not see him bowl his full quota like Wasim Jaffer points out, but when he's been bowling, he has proved to be this extraordinary weapon for Rohit Sharma with ball. Mickey Arthur said in the last game, it's like India play with 12, like how he had Jack Callis in his days. Wasim, we bring up the numbers for you, and GS will take us through those in just a moment too. Hardik Pandya's short ball seems to be catching some of the best batters in the world by surprise. Trying to think of what that tells you. The fact that Hardik is getting wickets with the short ball, the fact that he's bowling it a lot more, and that batters aren't seem to find the answer for it.
Well, I think his normal deliveries are like normal. It comes at the right place, but I think his short deliveries, he's one of those bowlers actually, he likes bowling short ball, and it works for him. I think his short ball comes at the right height, comes out very quickly, and he backs his delivery. He's not somebody who swings the ball, in both ways like Bhuvneshwar does. So he relies on his short ball a lot more. And even before, when he was playing for Mumbai Indians, it was a slow delivery, something which he bowls really well. We haven't seen that very often, but nowadays we see that his hard length and his short deliveries that he relies on really heavily, and he is stuck by it. It gives him wickets, so why not?
Easily his best returns, JS, this year in 2022 with ball and T20.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think he has changed his action a little bit after his back injury, and I think maybe those little details has made a difference in the way he's approaching the crease, the way he's actually delivering the ball. And Robin Uthappa in our studio said that his short balls are actually more difficult to kind of pick than say a Jasprit Bumrah or someone, because we don't know at what pace it's going to come and what height it's going to come. So I guess that those are some of the big factors where batters have struggled, but he's stuck to a plan. I think that's what he doesn't bowl too many full deliveries. He knows when he has to bowl full, when he has to bowl short and short of good. So even the stats say the same thing. He's taken 11 wickets. His economy is about 8.1 for the short ball, which is pretty good for the short ball.
All right. Now, just quickly as we sign off, we're again seeing the trend in the UAE that we saw in the World Cup about winning the toss and the advantage of chasing. If India are put in such a position against more formidable opposition in the Super 4s or even the final, Wasim, would you be tempted to bat first if you win the toss and get your batters under a bit of pressure in what's supposed to be the most challenging periods to bat?
I think I'll be tempted to bat first. I mean, if at all you want to try anything, you would want to try without changing the spot. At least you can do is bat first and give your top three batters. Virat didn't had a bat for a long time in the middle. KL has not been in form. Rohit was not in his best against Pakistan. So if your top three gets to bat without any pressure of chasing the score or anything, I mean that's all you can do. You probably win the toss and bat first and post a big score without having too much pressure. So I mean, if at all, like you said, in the Super Fours or in the further tournament, if India bats first, so, this is the time to test yourself.
Chance. Trouble. Oh, gone.
Yeah, what stood out about Musaddiq for you, Shahryar? That's his highest T20I score. He seemed to play the spinners with a little more ease, or significantly more ease than the rest of the batting. Did he do anything differently?
That was a really solid shot. Read the length.
He's a very good batsman against spinners. We have seen him batting beautifully against the spinners from under 19 days. But if technically speaking, he knew what he was trying to do. If you look at his batting against Fazal Haq Faruqi, he knew that the bowlers were going to bowl wide Yorker. He kept himself steady. He didn't try to overhit it. He timed the ball, placed the ball. His balance was beautiful today. And from among all the batsmen, I believe he was the person who understood the pitch. He didn't want to whack all over the park. He waited for the balls, and eventually he scored a 30 ball 48. He was brilliant today, and we needed one more innings like that. And if that was there, those kind of innings was there, probably Bangladesh could have got somewhere around 150. So technically speaking, he was very steady. He waited for the right ball, he played the right shot, he didn't try to overhit anything and overcomplicate anything, and that's why he ended up scoring the high point of his career.
Superb delivery.
Sum that up and try and see if I've got this right. Rashid Khan, first and foremost, the batters' control percentage is slightly higher.
Yeah.
They are playing 15% more aggressively.
Yeah.
So it's not like batters are not playing aggressively.
The intent aggressive, not the output.
Okay, say that again.
The intent is aggressive, but it doesn't mean it goes for 4 or 6. Yeah.
So we classify aggressive shots as in they've taken them on.
Yeah.
Not just worked them around.
Yeah.
So we have that data.
Because his economy is still the same.
Right, but they're taking risks.
Yeah.
You could say that the risk element is still there.
Yeah.
Control percentage is slightly higher.
Yeah.
But Rashid's strike rate is down. So his wickets are down. And he's bowling more googlies than he's bowling leg spinners than previously.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Wasim Jafar, you've heard that. I remember multiple times on our platform, the likes of Tom Moody, who've been coaching with Rashid Khan, a lot of other batters as well, tend to say, we start playing Rashid only expecting the googly. So that seems to be a trend that batters tend to adopt. Does that make any sense? What else seems to justify Rashid Khan's increasing strike rate, rather higher strike rate, but not as many wickets?
Well, I think it's the approach of the batters. They definitely go against him, saying that we are not going to attack him. If we don't give him wicket because he's the premier bowler, whether he's playing in franchise cricket or whether he's playing for Afghanistan, he's supposed to take wickets. So if they don't give him wickets, there are definitely other bowlers you can target. They are of not the same quality. Again, he bowls outside of the power play. So if you attack him, with the aerial shots, there are more fielders on the boundary. He's not somebody who bowls in the power play. So again, if you go out attacking and if you don't read him, you are bound to give him wickets, and his tail is going to be up. And for him to bowl more googly is because he wants to attack the stump. He wants to get those LBW and bowl because the batters are trying to defend. So it does make sense. He does squeeze in his leg spin every now and then. But I think sometimes he goes desperately looking for that wicket and try and hit those pads and hit those wickets. He tries to bowl more and more googly. But again, if his economy is not high, I don't think he'll mind that, because the other bowlers are of even, Mujibur Rahman is pretty good enough, Mohammad Nabi, Fazal Farooqi, even Naveenullah, they all play, around the league. So if they are not, they play in T20 cricket, so they know the news of T20 cricket. So I think even if he doesn't pick wickets, if he goes to 15 or maybe 20 in his 4 overs, I think Afghanistan or even Rashid Khan will be happy. He won't mind that.
So what does Rashid do to make sure batters go after him? We saw him in one game where he was captain, the game against CSK, where he bowled the 19th over. Could that become something that we see regularly for Rashid Khan? 18 and 20, maybe along with 4 and 6. Take out the middle overs, make him bowl the 4 tough overs.
Knowing from asking people about that, because his power play record is pretty bad, and he never bowls in the power play. He doesn't like it.
Is it a big sample size?
Yeah, it is a big sample size. He doesn't like it, so captains don't give him the power play overs. I've always wondered why he doesn't come on even in a low-scoring chase. He comes in only in the 6th over with Frick Wire. So he just doesn't come in the first over. Have you ever seen Rashid Khan bowl? No. So it's very, very. He just doesn't like bowling there. But middle overs, yes, that's his strength. Death overs, yeah, you can maybe think. But I think what he could do is maybe he's been teasing us, saying he has a new delivery, he's practicing something. He's going to bring that out. He's been practicing. I'm waiting for that. Maybe it's a crunch game. He's waiting for the World Cup. Who knows? But I'm waiting to see if something like that comes in where he gets the wicket.
It doesn't make sense, does it? Because Rashid, fair to say, most of his wickets are bowled LBW, right? So it's not like he's waiting for deep fielders to take catches, right? As spinners do. So that shouldn't matter to him if there are 2 out or 5. Wasim, how tempting would you be if you're in? Yeah, please.
I think probably 1 over in the power play, Ronak, and 1 over in the death, is something you can ask him to do it. He's one of those guys who desperately wants to strike, with wickets. Even if he goes for runs in those 2 overs, if he gets a wicket. So 1 over in the power play. Very aggressive way of using Rashid Khan. So if I'm a captain, I'll probably force him to bowl that 1 over in the power play and 1 in the death.
Welcome to our coverage.
We're going to focus on the 2 big boys. Shakib is one, the other is Mushfiqur Rahim, which takes us to GS's next interesting observation when it comes to what the numbers and trends tell us. What's Mushfiq been up to, GS?
Yeah, it's been a while. I think the importance of Mushfiqur Rahim in this team is coming down a little bit. The most startling stat from when I was researching about him was that his record against spin. That's something which was very good previously, but now it's kind of come down. You see that strike rate of 99.
Yeah.
It's not. Mushfiq is supposed to be one of the better players of spin. We've seen that in Test cricket. He has a 100 in India as well. He sweeps extremely well. That's his go-to shot. But this is very surprising that he has such a low strike rate. In fact,
so that was the last 5 years that we saw.
Yeah, right. If you look at the T20I minimum 500 balls faced, look at the kind of names in history of T20I. So Mushfiqur Rahim scoring less than 100 is just something which is, I guess it's, again, is it playing too much in Bangladesh? That's something I would like to ask Sharjah, because the scores there are so meddling, very tough to score. It's not those 200 flat tracks. Maybe you're so tuned to kind of keeping your wicket and not just scoring runs. It's got into their subconscious mind. So yeah, 99 is very low for a player of Mushfiqur's caliber, for a player who can sweep and reverse sweep so well, which is the fundamental skill required to kind of tackle any kind of spin. I think that's the most important story I wanted to bring out.
Right, Wasim, from what you've seen, Mushfiqur Rahim against spin, does it make any sense at all?
I think he's a very fine player, Ronak. I think the wickets in Bangladesh, I think, are probably the reason why, they play on in Mirpur or, wherever they play in Bangladesh. Those are not easy pitches. Even the T20 scores are 120, 130, which can be a winning score sometimes. Against Australia, they scored 120 or 130 and won games. So on those kind of pitches, your strike rate is not going to be very high. So probably that is one of the reasons why you have seen, players like Mahmudullah Riyad or maybe Mushfiq or even Shakib, their strike rate have come down because they play on those kind of pitches where it's hard to maintain high strike rate.
All right, Sharjah, please carry on.
The bowler seems very
No, I cannot agree more. Bangladesh plays most of their T20 matches at home. And as Wasim Bhai said, Bangladeshi pitches is not the best pitch to bat on, but though it is giving Bangladesh the winning result. So this is why some of our batsmen have that low strike rate. But if you compare to other players, some of the areas, the pitches are a bit high scoring. So this is why Bangladeshi batsmen don't score in a higher strike rate. But Mushfiq is a very fine player against spin, and if Bangladesh needs to put up a very decent total, Mushfiq needs to bat well today, because he's one of the better guys who handles spin, and Bangladesh will handle a lot of spin from Mujibur Rahman and Rashid Khan and Muhammad Nabi. So we will want to wish him good luck so that he scores a big score and gives Bangladesh a big total so that Bangladeshi bowlers can chase them down.
That was a real shame. That was a brilliant stage.
lots away at that spot, time and again. Fine catch by the wicket-keeper.
Perhaps it's happened such a long time back now that you forget Bhuvneshwar Kumar, but let's give him a little time before we wrap up tonight. When you get Babar Azam early, after what Babar Azam's been doing in international cricket of late, I think it just is a big moment. Maybe Hardik Pandya is rightfully player of the match, but Bhuvneshwar Kumar's contribution and impact today?
Absolutely, I think right up there with Hardik Pandya's contribution as well. Bhuvneshwar Kumar's, again, his story of resurgence has been a long and arduous one. He's gone 2 years from an injury, not able to figure out what the injury was. And he's gone through that period going to different doctors in different parts of the world just to figure out what the injury was. And that itself took him between 12 to 16 months. And once he figured that out, it took him another 9 months to kind of recover from whatever he was going through, to work day in and day out at the NCA. And I'm telling you, those are not easy days. Because, you get a surgery, then you do rehab. The rehab part is the most difficult. The surgery part is the easiest, to be very honest. Coming back and doing that boring stuff day in and day out for months on in and out is extremely hard. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of dedication, a lot of motivation to be able to do that. And he's done that. He's done all of that. And fixed that issue, and he's taken his time. He's played a lot of cricket, and he's gotten better and better and better. And he's, I think, like you mentioned, he's played cricket non-stop since the IPL, and you can see that he's gotten better with matches that he's played. His confidence has grown. We've seen him swinging the ball early and late, and it's the kind of swing and the booty that we know and we really enjoy watching.
No doubt about Booty. That was a spot. Yeah, I think now I don't. There were reservations after the IPL. Not everybody was willing to put Booty in there.
That's because his competition is Deepak Chahar, who has a good batting ability as well. So if you're looking at that little skill of number 8 or number 7, Deepak had it, and Deepak's also been really successful. Just that I think he got injured at the wrong time, and now Bhuvi took that opportunity. Yeah. India have a good backup of Bhuvi with Chahar, so I think both of them would do a great job. But Bhuvi right now, even with his ability at the depth, which I think he's one step ahead of Chahar, I think Bhuvi is the right guy. Yeah, absolutely. I think this competition is head to head, because I think India would like to play just one swing bowler, but if they could afford to play like 2 swing bowlers, like I would have loved to see Deepak and Bhuvi opening the bowling for India. That would have been a sight in itself, because they would trouble batsmen in those conditions, because those are sweaty conditions, and bowling first in those conditions would be hard for the batters.
It's a great time to be an India player and a tough time to be an India player. It's so hard to get into the team. But Bhuvi, getting Babar Azam, Vicky Arthur, this last word from you. How crucial was that? It just set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, look, I think Bhuvi was outstanding. He's an outstanding bowler. Him getting Babar did set the tone. He removed the best player, and when you do that, you cause a little bit of panic through the ranks. Just on Bhuvi and Hardik, before India played England out here, as I said earlier in the show, we played a practice game against India Bhuvi and Hardik didn't play in the game, but I watched them before the game train the house down. I was so impressed with their training philosophy and the way they went about it. It just doesn't happen by chance that they're turning in good performances now, because they were outstanding here. And swing bowling still, if you can swing the ball, swing bowling still is the toughest, whatever form of the game you play it.
There'll be one run here for them.
Just a little bit wide. Waste.
Are we expecting a different Pakistan now? We have to bring up the conversation we almost came into this game with. Pakistan are a different side when they're batting first. Now, how much does that come into factor now? Maybe 15 more, 20 more in a different game?
I think with their bowling attack, which is really good, and I'm looking at it more from a World Cup point of view as well. That's what they will be preparing for. With Shaheen coming in, I think 160 to 170. I think Australian grounds are also very similar to Dubai, pretty big, and it's not very easy to score those 200. So I think they would want that 170 upwards to be slightly on the safer side, to give their bowlers something to play with all the time. And that's going to happen only if Pakistan look to change their power play approach. Their stats have been very constant over the last 2 years. It's about 6.9. They score about 40 odd runs in the power play. They score about 70 odd runs in the middle overs, and then they have to make up 60, 70 in the dead, which they don't do. They manage good 55, 60 runs, but they don't go up to that 70. So I don't think they have to figure out a way to kind of change that. And maybe that's the challenge.
You brought a very important point. I think, like you said, they have a template, especially when they're batting second. I don't think they figure out that template when they bat first. Right? You can feel it when they're batting after the first 6 overs. They have a pattern for the first 6 overs, like you said, 40, 45 for 1 or 2. And then after that, it feels like they're searching. They're not really sure what they're doing. It feels like they're shooting in the dark a little bit. And you feel like they haven't figured out how they want to approach batting first. They haven't figured that template out. And if they can figure that out, you saw in the last 5 overs they lost 5 wickets. It would have been a better situation for them, because they would have read the game a lot better. They would have understood, assessed the wicket quicker, and understood, okay, what's a past score on this that we can defend with our bowling team. Let's approach the game that way, and then they would have batted accordingly. And I feel like that's something that they can actually improve on as a batting unit. And they're so heavily dependent on Rizwan and Babar. You want to be able to separate them, I feel, when they bat first. You want to probably send Fakhar Zaman up and have left-right batting combination, so that the bowlers are bowling to different angles, and you have Rizwan or Babar coming at number 3, so that there's a little bit more depth and someone can play that sheet anchor role for them and hold one end up while the others revolve around these guys.
But when a team is so successful with a player like that, and they just took the world by storm last season, is it easy to take such calls?
I think it is, because the whole team revolves around, like I said at the beginning, when at the pre-match I said, this team revolves around Babar, Rizwan, Shaheen Shah, and another player. Was it Asif Ali? I think.
Asif Ali is
one of them. One of these senior players. Right? They revolve around these senior players, and I feel like they need to kind of take that responsibility and say, we got to do this for our team. If this is our template batting first, and this is our template batting second, I think that will make them a much more competitive side when they bat first. And I feel like that's where they kind of missed the trick, so to speak.
Right, on cue, let's go to Mickey Arthur, who on our pre-show today did say he would have been a fan of Fakhar Zaman at the top of the order. Split up exactly what Robbie says, Mickey, of having Babar and Rizwan not necessarily together. You've heard all this patiently. I'm sure you've got plenty to weigh in with. So take me through both situations. Are there troubles when Pakistan has to bat first? That template is not quite as effective as it is otherwise. And can they do this now to fix it? Can they split up Babar and Rizwan?
Yeah, look, I think they should, and Robbie said it so well. It's different angles. You've got a left hand, right hand. A Fakhar hits the ball in different areas. It flusters the bowlers just a little bit. Particularly when you set. When you chase, you know exactly what you've got to do because the scoreboard tells you to do. In terms of blueprint, when I was with Pakistan and we had a most successful time in 2020 cricket, we usually set ourselves up to get 160 batting first and then rely on our bowlers to squeeze. We used to field as best we can, and that was generally quite a good recipe for us. The difference between that team and the team now is that in the middle we had Mohammed Hafiz and we had Shoaib Malik. In the middle now they're a very young outfit. They don't have much experience. And when you get them 3 wickets down early, I think they're going to struggle, particularly when they set. So definitely, for me, spread Barber and Rizwan, and you put Fakhar Zaman back to the top of the order.
Alright, we'll see if this Pakistan side is one that responds to this defeat, and we see a different approach or a different template should they bat first again when these two teams play again on the 4th of September.
Managed to get onto the front foot early and just enforce them.
Threw us a surprise by signing Ravindra Jadeja in as early as they did. It turned out to have this impact as well. These things can happen.
Yeah, and especially the 6 and a 4 he hit of Nawaz, that really kind of makes the captain think that, okay, Jadeja is there. Let's maybe delay Nawaz's next few overs. So this wouldn't have happened if India had sent in the traditional batting order. So small things. That's why I'm a big believer in unpredictability in T20. You need to kind of shock the opposition occasionally so that they don't come prepared.
I mean, he came in ahead of Suryakumar Yadav. I don't think a lot of us would have predicted that.
Yeah, nobody I think saw that coming, and it was a good call, it was a good move, it's something that no one really foresaw, and I actually quite like that decision. When you look at it from Pakistan's perspective, in hindsight, they could have bowled that 1 over of the left-arm spinner in that first 6. Yeah, because they had 2 right-handers going in, and that was
Let's talk about the Hardik Pandya innings. I don't remember the last time he had to come in this old role of his, or the original job description that he had for India. But can do no wrong. That 17-ball innings.
You gotta love the resurgence of Hardik Pandya. It's a story where everyone has written him off. Maybe even Indian cricket for a period of time. And he's worked his way back quietly, he put in the hard yards, worked quietly behind the scenes, and it's so
reassuring to see him play the way he's playing, especially for Indian cricket. I think it augurs well for us for the next 5 years at least to have a fit Hardik Pandya bowling his 4 overs. I think we just have to look after him in one day and in one day cricket. I don't know in test cricket, but in one day cricket we have to look after him. But I think we do 4 overs and play that role beautifully. So, and you have the caliber of a Hardik Pandya and Dinesh Karthik at 6 and 7. Oh man, that's gold.
Yeah, I mean, different player after the Gujarat Titans captains. We thought, what are we going to see of Hardik away from the Mumbai Indians, coming back from injury? Mumbai Indians didn't retain him for a reason, you think, whether he wanted to go there or whatnot. Now he's in a different league.
Yeah, and even the final shot, he didn't really celebrate. I think he's in a very, very different stage right now. And, he played smart shots, he hit the boundary at the right time, he did slog. Yeah, I think even with the ball, I think I was more impressed with him with the ball because he's been regularly taking wickets. And he has a plan. Like Robbie said, he bowls a lot of short balls, and I think he sticks to his plan. He has his strengths, and he doesn't move too much. Yeah. And you also got to see that I think that whole responsibility of becoming a captain and managing a team and looking after a team and taking calls in the field has given him a lot of confidence about his own game, a lot of reassurance about his own game, and we've seen that. We've seen that in the IPL where he's taking his time, coming to bat at number 3 or 4, taking his time, built innings and scored 50s and been in the top 10 run getters in the IPL this past season while getting wickets and bowling with the new ball. So he's done all the right things, ticked all the right boxes, and this is what we get to see, a better version of him, like you feel like he's getting better with time.
Yeah, and does he strike you as a guy where the coolness isn't a show? Like he's come in a tough situation, he's walked across his stumps a couple of times and we all go, oh, he's going to get a BW against a bowler with his tail up, and you just think every anything. Even when Jadeja's wicket fell, or he's not getting things going, he's seen that coolness seems to almost come naturally now.
Yeah, and I think that's something he's trying to emulate from MS. So you can see that's something that he's someone he really looks up to, and you can see that there are things that he's trying to imbibe from him, and they're really good friends as well. So you can see that rubbing off on him as well, and there's a sense of assuredness in his game today that is very Dhoni-esque in that sense. And we can only hope as Indians that he grows more into this and owns that spot a lot more. You can definitely see him, if he continues in the same way in time, you can see him playing a leadership role in the future as well in the country.
I mean, it's such a rare skill set. Any team would love it, right? 2020 cricket bowler, you can bank on the ball 4 overs more often than not, which Hardik does now. Jobby does with the bat, versatility, etc. I think I asked this question recently of a number of our other panelists too. We always talk about Ben Stokes, Russell in his prime. We don't get to see as much of Russell. Is Hardik in a league of his own in 2020 cricket at the moment?
Yeah, look, he's a wonderful, wonderful player. It's almost like India play with 12 players. It takes me back to my time with South Africa when we had Jacques Callis, and you've got a guy that can genuinely be one of your full seamers, but he also can bat in your top 5. It's like playing with an extra player. I have seen Hardik mature, and I thought his leadership around the last IPL was outstanding. He managed his team really well. He went in the crucial situations. He played the pressure situation so well for his team. I think he's just blossoming into a very, very fine cricketer.
All right, very best to Hardik Pandya. Who's to say we're done? India, we're hoping that the peak hasn't come too soon. There's still a decisive tournament to play in Australia. You want to see the best of Hardik Pandya then. Let's hope for India's sake that he remains fit, etc.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand.
Oh my, that's racing away. And help to the boundary.
I think Hardik bowled almost more than 50% of his deliveries were short. Like 17 balls were short, and he got 3 wickets. Also, I couldn't see much from the television, but I think there's one side which is very the longer boundary.
Maybe Hardik has bowled from the end where the batters have to hit towards that side. So that's why sometimes the short ball works. And I thought it was a proper plan. Even Bhuri bowled short, so he's not bowled bad. I looked at his career over the last 1 year. He's actually bowled a bit more of these balls, these knuckle balls which are short. So I think this is a plan which India came and executed to perfection.
So I actually think that how fast bowlers, the back of the length is a stock delivery. For Hardik Pandya, the short ball is a stock delivery. And the number of times I've played him in the IPL, more often than not, you know that he's going to bowl at least 2 or 3 in an over. It could be a variation short ball, or it'll be a proper short ball, or a short ball that doesn't climb up too high. He's got that, and I think he bowls that really well. And he backs himself to kind of let the batsman know, hey, I'm bowling short to you, you know it's coming. Take me on, let's see if you can get the better of it.
So both short balls, you've faced Bhuvi, you've faced Hardik. Tell me what's the challenge when these two aren't necessarily the quickest, still trouble you.
So the thing about these short balls is sometimes they can be heavy, they can catch you off guard, right? So someone like Bhuvi, he's a swing bowler predominantly. So when he bowls a short ball, you feel like it's going to come at the same pace as a swing ball, but it comes much quicker, it comes on you very quicker. So when a swing bowler bowls a short ball or attempts to bounce it against you, more often than not it'll be very speedy, or it'll be a little not heavy, but it'll come on to you. It rushes you. Exactly what happened today with Babar Azam. It rushed him a little bit. You could tell that the ball hit the bat more than the bat coming down on that ball.
So you're almost better prepared when you're facing Bumrah or Imran Malik bowling a short ball.
Because you're anticipating it somewhere at the back of your mind. With someone like Bhuvi or like a Deepak Chahar, you're anticipating that swing ball that's pitching up. So you don't see the short ball coming. So you look at the short ball as an opportunity to score runs, which is what makes their short ball so effective.
I loved the short ball plan. I thought they bowled that really well, and it was interesting listening to Robbie talk about it. The thing that we've always set up with Bhuvi was that his short ball it skids onto you because he's a shorter guy. It skids onto you and sort of hits you chest height and kind of cramps you for room. Whereas Hardik was a little bit taller, and his bouncer obviously gets a lot more bounce. I did think the spinners bowled well in the middle. I thought they suffocated enough to put some pressure on as well. We saw one ball turn massively from Jadeja. So through the middle, I thought Chahal and Jadeja did a really nice job as well. So all in all, India will be very, very happy, and I think their plan has worked there.
There'll be one run here for them. Just a little.
On Qatar Airways presents ESPN Cricket Info T20 timeout. Time for us to look ahead to a big game. Bangladesh against Afghanistan. Afghanistan on a serious high after the ease with which they put Sri Lanka aside. And will they do the same to another Asian powerhouse in the form of Bangladesh who have their own troubles? We will discuss those with Shahryar Nafees in just a moment. Gaurav Sundararaman is with me. Shahryar is very well connected with the Bangladesh team now. She's going to give us a lot of answers that we have questions to. You've got a big question for him, GS. What is it from a Bangladesh point of view?
Yeah, Bangladesh have had a pretty tough time in the T20 format of late. A lot of chopping and changing. I think their three mains, Talwat, Shakib Al Hasan, Mushfiqur and Mohammadullah are still there. They kind of form a very strong middle order. But what's at the top and what's below them is something which is, which even I don't think they have a settled unit at the top, which is very, very important in T20s. And over the last, since the last T20 World Cup, their strike rate, the batting strike rate of Bangladesh is the lowest among all the 10 teams, which is about 110. So that's not a very good sign considering India, which is at the best team, which teams want a benchmark to, they strike at 144. So that's the kind of gap that Bangladesh have to bridge. So it's going to be tough on their batters. I think that's the biggest challenge.
All right, then let's ask Shahryar Nafees, who fills the rest of those batting spots? From what GS says, Shahryar, that there are only 3 players, and we know those 3 players so well now, that we can say with certainty are going to make that level. What does the Bangladesh batting lineup look like for you?
Recent has given an opportunity to Anamul Haq Bijoy, who has been scoring prolifically in domestic circuit. When Tamim Iqbal announced his retirement from the T20, it's a very, very, very big shoe to fill in. But you know, a T20 is such a game where player comes and performs and gets settled down. So Anamul Haq Bijoy is there, Muhammad Naim Sheikh is there. So and we have got some of new kids. Like Afif has been in this squad for such a long time, and he has been batting number 3, number 4. So yes, Saqib, Mushfiq, and Mahmudullah gives the team a solid middle order. But in a T20 match, the top order has to perform really well, and I'm very, very, very confident that the new guys who are given chances will take the opportunity and start well for Bangladesh.
All right. Now, the numbers that Gaurav brings up, Shahryar, about the overall strike rate, the top order strike rate being lower than any other team, is that really such a concern in these conditions? We saw what Fazal Haq Farooqi did to Sri Lanka's top order in the opening game. Would you be looking at those numbers and be worried and say Bangladesh need to play the power game that a lot of other teams play? Or would you be saying, no, that's all right, because this is a very different equation now, and the conditions are such that if they can play the 150, 160 game, they're in control?
Ronak, it totally depends on a day. The condition you are playing, the opponent you are playing. Yes, if opponent is scoring 200 against you, then you have to chase it down. You have to keep one thing in mind, that Bangladesh plays their 50% T20s at home, which every team does, and you have to adapt with the home condition. Recently, in some of the away tours, yes, Bangladesh hasn't been that successful, but if you look at the T20 record at home, and they have beat some of the formidable sides. Sometimes the wickets at home suits Bangladesh team, and that is why the overall T20 strike rate is a bit low. But having said that, I believe in a tournament like this, where all the powerhouses are playing, and even you talk about World Cup, you have to adapt to the condition. If the condition is allowing you to score in a 200 strike rate, you have to do that. And if the condition is allowing you to score in a
strike rate of 110, you have to adapt with the situation. You cannot go out of the situation and play out of your skin. What is important that the players go there, they are confident and they are adapting with the situation. And whatever comes to you, you take the opportunity in both hands and do as best as you can. And in a day where Bangladeshi players play at their best, they are as good as any other team in the world.
Nice timing, good batting, won't get to the boundary. Out! What a catch!
On ESPN Cricket for T20 time, it is time to preview India versus Pakistan. What are the big questions for Pakistan, or what is the big question for this Pakistan side? One that beat India less than a year back in these conditions in the UAE. Well, Gaurav Sundaraman and myself will have the opportunity to ask that question to Mickey Arthur, who I'm delighted joins us for the first time on our network. Mickey, good to have you. And it's time for the big question that Gaurav will first deep dive with some numbers into. What have we got from Mickey today, Joyce?
I think Pakistan are very over-reliant on their openers. The likes of Shoaib Malik, Mohammad Hafiz are not there this time around, and you have the slightly inexperienced Khushbin Shah, Asif Ali, Haider Ali. These guys have not really played at the big stage enough, and Babar and Rizwan have always delivered. They are leading run scorers last year in T20Is, and they have played just one T20I this year, so that's another thing. So Babar and Rizwan need to set that platform for them if they want to make best use of the finisher. So I think they are over-reliant on Babar and Rizwan.
Alright, so let's take that question to Mickey. They are formidable when they fire, Mickey Arthur, but are Pakistan over-reliant on Babar Azam and Mohammad?
Players, all three of them. It's going to be interesting how they position them. I'd like to see Fakhar Zaman back to the top of the order just to give that left-right hand combination. So I would then like to see one of Rizwan or Babar at number 3 to particularly back the overs 7 to 15, which are the key areas I do think, because there's a lot of inexperience there. They'll use Asif Ali to finish. They'll use Shadab Khan in and around whenever they feel the situation arises. And Kustal Shah's played particularly well. And he gives a left-hander in that sort of finishing role. So they do have options, but they're untried options. The one young batter I really like is Haider Ali. And I think they might rue the fact now that they haven't given Haider Ali more opportunities to cement his place, because I do think he has the goods to be a really, really good player in time to come.
Mick, if you look at Babar and Rizwan, they're successful or they're consistent more often than not, but they play the slightly, you'd say, the old school way of T20 cricket, striking at 120, 130, average and aggregate numbers, very good. Are they anchor-heavy though at the top? The similarity in styles of Babar, Rizwan, Fakhar Zaman follows. Are they anchor-heavy in their top 3?
I don't think so, Ranak, because with both Babar and Rizwan, the only problem I see with them is it's same. And it was interesting, when I was coach, we had Fakhar Zaman there with Babar, and I thought opening the batting was the perfect position for Babar, but you needed to have a left-hander. Fakhar Zaman had a different role. He's unconventional. He hits the ball in different areas. So that was quite a nice mix for me. I do think Babar and Rizwan are a little bit same. However, in the power play overs, it's still proper cricket shots. Because people get mesmerised by the power play, thinking you've got to hit the ball in the air. You don't. You've got to hit the ball in the gaps. And if you find those gaps, you still get the boundaries. And that's something that both Babar and Rizwan have done particularly well.
Really good timing. All the signs that they're reading the ball well. Guide.
Yes. Oh, faintest of sounds. No one to catch it though.
way to the back.
It is time for India versus Pakistan. It's not a fixture we get to discuss and celebrate as we used to a few years back, but it always makes for great conversation. On ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout, ahead of their opening Asia Cup encounter, we will ask the big question out of an India player. Cheteshwar Pujara will join us for the first time. Puji, firstly, warm welcome. Are you more comfortable as an analyst or more comfortable as a T20 batter or generally an international batter? I wonder which one's easier.
Thanks, Ronak. I think I would prefer to be a player than the analyst, but sometimes it's good to be on this side and then talk about some of my teammates. So yes, I'm looking forward to this.
I'm very looking forward eagerly. When I say me, it's me and Gaurav Sundararaman, of course, who's with me in studio, our senior data analyst. This should be fun. Normally we ask the former players and the coaches what they think. Now we get to ask someone who plays with these guys because it's a big question we need to ask this.
Yeah, and I think we'll get some really good insights having been part of the team and having played with these players. So one of the biggest calls for India is going to be whether to pick Rishabh Pant or Dinesh Karthik. You have a World Cup coming in 1 month, and none of these players have actually played together for a very long time. Basically, the top 7 have not played at all. So it's the first time due to injuries and workload, people had to come in and come out.
Yes.
But now is the time to prepare for that World Cup. Hope there are no injuries. We'll have a sign on who's going to be picked ahead. So I think that's a big problem the coaching staff has. Whether you pick Rishabh Pant because for his left-handedness and the fact that he is Rishabh Pant, he can bat anywhere he wants, or someone whom you have groomed for that particular role, Dinesh Karthik, who's done a great job as a finisher. What do you do?
Alright, let's go to Cheteshwar Pujara and ask him that. Now, our homework tells us that is the straightforward call-up, Puji, because we know that Rahul, Rohit, Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, along with Pandya and Jadeja are all pretty much undroppable. So assuming that is the case, if India have to make this call, what would you like to see them do in the Asia Cup?
You can't fault that shot. Nicely
Well, firstly, it's a big headache for the team management as well because both are doing really well in T20 format. So now the tough call is whether you want someone who can bat at number 5 or you want a finisher who can bat at number 6 or 7. So I would say if you want someone at number 5, I think Rishabh Pant is a better choice. But if you want your batting lineup to have a very good finisher who is just likely to play about 10 to 20 balls and give you 40-50 runs, I think then DK is a better option. Personally, I think knowing the team management, knowing how things work around the Indian team, I would think that they might go with Rishabh Pant because he's a left-hander, and that gives team a bit of balance with left and right combination.
Alright, interesting you say that. So Pant, you think knowing the team management might get the nod. Is there a case at all for both of them to play? We asked Mickey Arthur that question, the former Pakistan coach, and he suggested in the UAE you want that firepower in the middle order. So India must take a tough call and say we can only play 3 out of the top 4, and he made it down to 1 out of Virat Kohli or Surya Kumar Yadav. He said they might start with Kohli, and in spite of how Surya has been, he would miss out because he would want both Pant and DK to play. Do you see any merit to that argument? Is it at all likely that India will go that way?
No, I don't agree to that because Surya Kumar is one of our top T20 players. He is one of our top T20 batter. So I would definitely want him in the side because he can win you games. He is someone who has done really well for Mumbai Indians, and even whenever I've seen him at number 4, he has done exceptionally well. So I don't think even the team management will leave him out. If DK and Rishabh both have to play, I think we have to drop one of the top order, and which isn't possible. So I don't think both can play.
Fair enough that. Now the other question I want to ask you on this Pant versus DK conversation is, India seems to have given DK the job to play as a specialist finisher. They even send Jadeja ahead of him if say wickets fall before over number 15 or so. That specialized role has not been assigned to anybody else. If DK doesn't play, would you like somebody else to play that role? We know Hardik Pandya is now batting a lot more in the top order. He likes batting there for the Titans. Pant has always been used as a floater. But if that is a specialized sort of role in Karthik's absence, would you give that role to somebody else?
Yeah, I would prefer Hardik to do that role because he's someone who can strike from ball 1. and his strike rate is always about 150. So I don't think Rishabh can do that job because he needs little more time. And if he comes into bat, I think it should be somewhere around 10 to 12 overs. And if he gets 8 to 10 overs, he can score a 50 or a bit more than that.
It looks like he could lean more towards Rishabh Pant if you have to take Cheteshwar Pujara's analysis and assessment. We do know that Pant did not train as much a couple of days going into this game. I don't know what you can read into all that, so let's not get into that. We'll come to that on our live show. The bowling is another question mark. In the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, in the absence of Harshal Patel, if we look at that team, what sort of combination would you like India to start with against Pakistan? Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Arshdeep Singh and Avesh Khan are the outright pace bowling options. Would all three make your 11 for this opening game, or would you want to go spin heavy and give Yuzvendra Chahal and Ravindra Jadeja one more spinner to play with either Ashwin or Bishnoi? How would you like India's bowling?
I think I would go with three seamers start of the tournament because wickets will be a little fresh. There will be a little more assistance for the fast bowler in first few games, and as the tournament progresses, the pitches might get a little slower. So if you want three spinners, I think it should be later in the tournament, not when we are starting the tournament. So I would go with Bhuvnesh, Avesh Khan and Arshdeep as my seamers, and then it will be a tough call. I think Jadeja is there at number 7 for sure, but would you play Ashwin or Chahal? That will be a big question for the team. And depending on who the opposition is, I think if they have no left-handers, I wouldn't be surprised there are times where Ashwin will get in.
For this Pakistan game, I think more right-handers than left. Is Fakhar Zaman. Is there another left to steal? Yeah, so that's two left-handers I can think of. So Chahal perhaps to get the nod for this game? Cheteshwar?
Yes, of course. I think for this game, they'll go with Chahal because, as Gaurav mentioned, I think he's a wrist spinner and his form in T20 format has been exceptional. So I don't think he will be missing out on the first game. But going forward, if he doesn't do well and if the management feels that they need either an extra spinner or Ashwin has to come in because the opponents have more left-handers, that might happen later in the tournament.
Alright, fair enough. Last question I do want to ask you, since you're not going to be with us for this game today, but is in the absence of Bumrah and Harshal Patel, a bit of a hold that creeps up on who takes responsibility to bowl at the death. Is that straightforward? Arshdeep Singh's job now? Would you like to see Avesh Khan sort of take that? Would India do anything differently by maybe using Chahal deeper? Or Hardik Pandya has been used at the depth as well when two of their strike dead bowlers are missing? How would you like India's bowlers to fill that vacuum?
I think Arshdeep has that talent along with Puri. I wouldn't want Avesh Khan to bowl at the death. I mean, he has talent, no doubt about that, but he doesn't have that experience of bowling at the death. So I would want either Puri or Arshdeep to take that responsibility. I don't see, Rohit holding Chahal back in the death overs. I don't think that is possible in especially start of the tournament where wickets are good. Ball won't spin that much. So death overs, I don't think Chahal or even Hardik can do that. Hardik has been bowling really well, but I would want him to, if he's bowling, he should be bowling in the middle overs, which is between 6 to 15.
A really good 50 partnership. These two are looking strong. And it's
a real beauty. Just tilt to the boundary.
There was minimal follow through, just great time.
Back we are with ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout as the Asia Cup is upon us. Sri Lanka versus Afghanistan is how we kick things off. And in the studio with me, Gaurav Sundaraman has been drafted in, picked up first draft at the auction, and here he is now, first pick at the auction. And yes, in our studios, you will drive the talking points now to tell us what is the big question for Sri Lanka and for Afghanistan. Parvez Maroof joins us, so too Wasim Jafar. We'll hear from both of them in a second. Yes, make sense of what's the big story for Sri Lanka ahead of this.
Well, Sri Lanka have picked a very young team, and especially in the fast bowling department, they have 3 players who have not even played T20 guys. So it's a very young team for a very big tournament like the Asia Cup. So I'm curious. I want an opinion from Fawaz and Wasim about whether are they going to be too over reliant on spinners? Are they going to be the ones driving Sri Lanka forward, or are they going to be reliant on the fast bowlers? But one thing is, in Dubai, usually when you look at the IPL and other tournaments which are held there, the first few games, when the pitches are fresh, it's very good for fast bowling. Sometimes it doesn't aid spinners. So I'm curious to know how will Sri Lanka go about this.
So we were just discussing before we go on here, the combined experience, T20 experience of Sri Lanka's fast bowling attack is
0.
They have not played T20 cricket.
Yeah, they haven't played T20.
Because all the premier fast bowlers are on our show. Khadir Maruf, make sense of that, please.
Premier fast bowlers happily retired. Yeah, definitely Dushmantha Chameera, Bindo Fernando will be the first choice fast bowlers for Sri Lanka in T20s are injured. Especially Dushmantha Chameera have not played for a while. He's nagging this injury for a long time. Bindo Fernando is something very disappoints me, especially because he comes back, makes a good into the domestic system, then he breaks down. As far as the players who are already in Dubai, Pramod Madushan, Matisha Patirana, Dilshan Madhusankar and Asita Fernando, they are quite raw when it comes to T20, as you guys said about their stats and stuff. So I think at the moment, for me, Dilshan Madhusankar is a left-arm quick who can swing the ball, who's quite skiddy customer, will be a bowler that Sri Lanka will be looking into it, as well as Matisha Patirana with his IPL experiences playing in these kind of matches.
If you have Vanindu Hasaranga in your team, Wasim, would you be too worried about the experience of your fast bowlers though?
I think so. Because Hasaranga is the main spinner. You know that Thikshana bowls in the power play. So where does Hasaranga bowls is also a question mark. How well Dasun Shanaka uses him, because he can only bowl 4 overs. But like Gaurav said, the pitches at the start will have a little bit of freshness, will have a little bit of carry. So that is going to be a concern. Only having one spinner and then relying too heavily on him won't be the right thing. I think Patirana, I would definitely go for him, because what he played, when he played for CSK, he showed a lot of promise. He has that, Malinga-like style. So lot of people will pick him. So I think it's a good choice to play him. But just relying on Hasaranga, I feel, won't be a good idea.
Alright, so excited as we all are to see Matisha Patirana. Some of us saw him towards the end of that season for CSK. Let's accept that Sri Lanka's biggest threat is going to come in the form of Hasaranga Thikshana. Who's in their Afghanistan lineup now? And what are the numbers against spin? So we're quite excited to see what the Afghan top order has to offer.
Yeah, so Afghanistan have usually had a very aggressive top order in Zazai and Gurbaz. And I think now with more and more teams like England, India having this very aggressive approach, I think teams like Afghanistan will also be influenced by that. So they would like to target these kind of fast bowlers who are pretty raw, as our experts have said. So I think spin may not play a role early on. So they have to attack guys like Thikshana. And Gurbaz is a good player of spin. He plays spin very well, but he takes some time to settle down. So he's not a player who can just hit from ball one and capitalize on the power play. That's what Zazai does. And Zazai, we've seen him, especially against a stronger team, have some weaknesses against fast bowling as well. So it's going to be a very... they need to play smart. If I were Afghanistan, I would ask them to attack these fast bowlers early on. Try to get ahead of the game before you have Hasaranga coming in.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Zazai, he's taken some headlines in T20 cricket. But Rebel Gurbaz, Wasim is someone you said you want to watch out for in this tournament. You expect him to have a big tournament. Good numbers against spin, leg spin and off spin, averages over 30, strike rates over 150. Excited?
I'm pretty excited to see him. In fact, I wanted to see him play in Gujarat Lions, but he didn't get an opportunity. He does show a lot of promise. And I want to see him, how he bats in this Asia Cup. He hasn't had a very good Ireland series. So, looking forward to him, because the batting lineup doesn't look very strong for Afghanistan. So Zazai and Rahmanullah Gurbaz has to come good if they want to have a good tournament, because they've got a very strong bowling. The batting needs to fire for them to stay in the hunt in the tournament.
Going GS makes for ways. Looking at the inexperience of Sri Lanka's bowling, if you were in the Afghan camp, would you echo what GS said? Go after those young Sri Lankan bowlers, put them under pressure.
Yes, well taken in the slip.
Before I come to that, Ronak, let me just give you one more input. Ramula Gurbaz, when he played the 2 years of LPL, which happened last 2 years, the first year he didn't have a great one, but the second one he had a fantastic tournament where Jaffna Kings won the championship, and Mahesh Tikshana, Manindu Hasaranga and Ramula Gurbaz all played in the same team. And not only he would have faced him in the nets, also he kept wickets for the two spinners, so he will know all that and he'll pick them pretty easy. So in case, as you said, if the fast bowlers were targeted early up with Matisha or Dishan Madhusanka or maybe Asita Fernandez, I think Manindu Hasaranga might have to bowl a couple of overs in the power play. So that is a huge disadvantage for Sri Lanka because Manindu is a bowler who picks up wickets after the 6 overs. In the middle overs comes and picks up wickets for Sri Lanka, and that's where Sri Lanka usually keep the run scoring down. Mahesh Tikshana will bowl minimum of 2 overs or maximum 3 overs in the power play. So that's a way forward that Sri Lanka has been going for the last 2 years. So it will be a tricky one. It's a crunch game as far as I'm concerned because it's a group of 3 good teams. With Bangladesh. So this game will make sure whoever wins it will have one step in the second round. So, the team who plays smart will end up winning this game as far as I'm concerned.
The fielder could only pick that up off the bat.
Doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
It was one.
Got all of it, and for 6.
That's a brilliantly aggressive shot.
Yes. Immaculate timing there.
You can't fault that shot. Nicely played, and it was 4 runs.
A loose delivery, seen early, and it was dispatched.
Couldn't have played that any better.
No point running for that one. That was 4 off the bat. Beautiful.
Effortless. A gift, really. Floated it up there and dealt with.
A really good...
2 full. Got what it deserved.
That really wasn't a great delivery.
Huge shot. That's a massive shot. Just incredible. Perfect technique and placement.
Steered away nicely. Let the ball do all the work for them.
The batsman brings up their half-century. That's a really good half-century. Ensure that the strike rate is maintained and is pushed on really, really well.
Absolutely nailed it.
Just missed the line, not the...
Flew away with pace. Brilliant timing.
Saw it from the moment it left the hand.
Playing, which they've managed. If they can find the right spot, the reward will eventually come.
That is an amazing crease so far. That shot brings up the half-century. Beautiful batting display, very solid.
That's gone all the way, right out of the middle.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand a little during the release. Ali didn't...
What great reactions. Brilliant catch close in. That's great fielding. That ball was flying.
Exquisitely down the front foot.
The innings wraps up with a very defendable total. It will need some good bowling. It certainly won't be the easiest total to chase. A few early boundaries will help settle things down. The bowlers will only need a sniff to get back in the game. There'll be 1 run here for them.
Just a little bit wide.
Wait
on. Yep.
Chance. Trouble. Oh, gone.
been a poor inning.
The crease. Yes. Great shot. Great timing.
Well, that was a really solid shot. Read the length.
Hit that hard. Nailed it.
Avoided the...
Yes. Thick edge.
Flashed at it. Didn't time it well, but...
Yes. Super piece of timing.
There was minimal follow-through, just great timing to...
Super shot.
Fine placement and enough timing to get that ball away.
Nicked it. Strong appeal. Diving across. Look for all money as if it was going through.
This innings...
That wicket, the new batting. Edged. They certainly don't feel like they've got anything on that, but almost every fielder is asking the question. Superb delivery.
An innings that promised all round.
With the fall of that wicket. Yes. Picks the gap perfectly.
You just can't hit it any better than that. Drilled it.
Out. Yeah! What a catch.
A trudge back to the pavilion.
It's a long way. Nicely played.
Had to clear the front leg in order to get under the ball and...
That's right out of the middle of the bat.
Just perfection. A majestic shot.
Good bit of timing there.
That's what you pay the entrance money for. It's flown into the crowd. A brilliant shot.
Yes, great shot, but it's not going to beat the fielder.
There was a bit of width on that, and they've climbed into the shot to set.
Times it nicely.
Had all the time in the world to get in position to play that.
Right off the middle of the bat.
A really good 50 partnership. These two are looking strong. And it's...
A real beauty. Just times it so well.
Straight through the line of the...
Doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
There was minimal follow-through, just great time.
Yes. Got that away nicely.
This batter really is the key now. Picking up the boundaries when they need them. Just the sort of thing the team...
Same spot. Yep.
Well, it's a case of blink and you miss it with this innings. 50 brought up, and what a devastating passage of play it's been. Really good innings to bring up the half-century. Impressive batting, and they'll...
Picks up 50 with that shot. A great way to start their innings. Now's the time to push on. That shot brings up 50. Raises the bats and appreciation from the fans in the crowd.
Nice timing, good batting, won't get to the boundary. Out! What a catch.
Starting to get really interesting now. That's the 5th wicket, and...
Pethlaqueo. right out of the middle.
Managed to get onto the front foot early and just enforced the mistake.
Middle that one, great timing.
Off the front foot, hit it with all the power and elegance of a batter.
That's an unbelievable shot into the crowd.
That ball has been hit.
Oh my, that's just flown off the middle.
Well, that was just textbook. Finds the space.
Good bit of timing there.
This has been a masterclass. A great display of batting and bowling. They didn't let their opponents get a look.
That ended up being an easy win in the end, just staying ahead of the game all the way through. Goodbye from all of us in the commentary box, and see you soon. Good evening and welcome to our coverage from Trent Bridge. And with me, Ian Healy, and the Silver Fox himself, David Gower.
Thanks, Mike. Always a pleasure to sit alongside you. Earlier, I took a look at the conditions, and the pitch has been prepared beautifully, something for everyone. I'd say it's worth getting at the batters with the ball first, though. Beautiful clear conditions and not a chance of rain.
Brilliant work there from David Gower. We're going down to the middle now. The captains are ready for the toss.
Could have gone either way on that call, but I'd say bowling first is the sensible call. Put the batters under pressure early and hopefully get the breakthrough.
Nicely fielded on the boundary. There'll be one run here for them.
And with that, they're off the mark. Yes.
They'd look for a couple here.
Bowlers! A brilliant throw-in from the deep caps off what was a... Yes.
Perfectly timed.
Well, a lovely shot. Really good timing. Out of the middle, and it raced to the boundary.
Right.
All the signs that they're reading the ball well. Guide.
Yes.
Oh, faintest of sounds. No one to catch it, though.
Through. Yes.
Well, didn't time that at all, but managed to get it away to the back.
Edged. Huge shout. The bowler seems very confident with that one. Yes, well taken in the slips.
It's the wicket they so...
And with that wicket... Couldn't have hit that any better.
Seemed very happy to take the boundary first up. Punched away nicely. Yes.
Got all of it, and for six.
Well, that was just textbook. Finds the space.
Yep.
Ease through the field. There'll be runs here. Caught. One of the easiest catches you'll see.
That was a real shame. That was a brilliant stage.
Lots away at that spot, time and again. That's a long way up. Is there anyone there to catch it? Fine catch by the wicket-keeper.
An innings that promised much.
It's a long way. Absolutely nailed it.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand.
Oh my, that's racing away.
The fielder could only pick that up off the bat.
Doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
It was one.
Got all of it, and for 6.
That's a brilliantly aggressive shot.
Immaculate timing there.
You can't fault that shot. Nicely played, and it was 4 runs.
A loose delivery, seen early, and it was dispatched.
Couldn't have played that any better.
No point running for that one. That was 4 off the bat. Beautiful.
Effortless. A gift, really. Floated it up there and dealt with.
A really good...
Too full. Got what it deserved.
That really wasn't a great delivery.
Huge shot. That's a massive shot. Just incredible. Perfect technique and placement.
Steered away nicely. Let the ball do all the work for them.
The batsman brings up their half-century.
That's a really good half-century. Ensure that the strike rate is maintained and is pushed on really, really well.
Absolutely nailed it.
Just missed the line, not the...
Flew away with pace. Brilliant timing.
Saw it from the moment it left the hand.
Playing, which they've managed. If they can find the right spot, the reward will eventually come.
That is an amazing half-crease so far. That shot brings up the half-century. Beautiful batting display, very solid.
That's gone all the way, right out of the middle.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand a little during the release. Ali didn't...
What great reactions. Brilliant catch close in. That's great fielding. That ball was flying.
Exquisitely down the front foot.
The innings wraps up with a very defendable total. It will need some good bowling. It certainly won't be the easiest total to chase. Few early boundaries will help settle things down. The bowlers will only need a sniff to get back in the game. There'll be 1 run here for them.
Just a little bit wide.
Wait
on. Yep.
Chance. Trouble. Oh, gone.
Oh dear, it's been a poor inning.
The crease. Great shot. Great timing.
Well, that was a really solid shot. Read the length.
Hit that hard. Nailed it.
Avoided the...
Thick edge.
Flashed at it. Didn't time it well, but...
Yes. Super piece of timing.
There was minimal follow-through, just great timing to...
Super shot.
Fine placement and enough timing to get that ball away.
Nicked it. Strong appeal. Diving across. Look for all money as if it was going through.
This innings...
That wicket, the new batter. Edged. They certainly don't feel like they've got anything on that, but almost every fielder is asking the question. Superb delivery.
An innings that promised all round.
With the fall of that wicket. Yes. Picks the gap perfectly.
You just can't hit it any better than that. Drilled it.
Out. Yeah! What a catch.
A trudge back to the pavilion.
It's a long way. Nicely played.
Had to clear the front leg in order to get under the ball and...
That's right out of the middle of the bat.
Just perfection, a majestic shot.
Good bit of timing there.
That's what you pay the entrance money for. It's flown into the crowd. A brilliant shot.
Yes, great shot, but it's not going to beat the fielder.
There was a bit of width on that, and they've climbed into the shot to set.
Times it nicely.
Had all the time in the world to get in position to play that.
Right off the middle of the bat.
A really good 50 partnership. These two are looking strong. And it's...
A real beauty. Just times it so well.
Straight through the line of the...
Doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
There was minimal follow-through, just great time.
Yes. Got that away nicely.
This batter really is the key now. Picking up the boundaries when they need them. Just the sort of thing the team...
Same spot. Yep.
Well, it's a case of blink and you miss it with this innings. 50 brought up, and what a devastating passage of play it's been. Really good innings to bring up the half-century. Impressive batting, and they'll...
Picks up 50 with that shot. A great way to start their innings. Now's the time to push on. That shot brings up 50. Raises the bats and appreciation from the fans in the crowd.
Nice timing, good batting, won't get to the boundary. Out! What a catch.
Starting to get really interesting now. That's the 5th wicket. And
Petlaqueo. Right out of the middle.
Managed to get onto the front foot early and just enforced the mistake.
Middle that one, great timing.
Off the front foot, hit it with all the power and elegance of a batter.
That That's an unbelievable shot into the crowd.
That ball has been hit.
Oh my, that's just flown off the middle.
Well, that was just textbook. Finds the space.
Good bit of timing there.
This has been a masterclass. A great display of batting and bowling. They didn't let their opponents get a look.
That ended up being an easy win in the end, just staying ahead of the game all the way through. Goodbye from all of us in the commentary box, and see you soon. Good evening and welcome to our coverage from Trent Bridge. And with me, Ian Healy, and the Silver Fox himself, David Gower.
Thanks, Mike. Always a pleasure to sit alongside you. Earlier, I took a look at the conditions, and the pitch has been prepared beautifully, something for everyone. I'd say it's worth getting at the batters with the ball first, though. Beautiful clear conditions and not a chance of rain.
Brilliant work there from David Gower. We're going down to the middle now. The captains are ready for the toss.
Could have gone either way on that call, but I'd say bowling first is the sensible call. Put the batters under pressure early and hopefully get the breakthrough.
Nicely fielded on the boundary. There'll be one run here for them.
And with that, they're off the mark.
Yes. They'd look for a couple here.
Bowlers! A brilliant throw-in from the deep caps off what was a...
Yes. Perfectly timed.
What a lovely shot. Really good timing. Out of the middle, and it raced to the boundary.
Right.
All the signs that they're reading the ball well. Guide.
Yes. Oh, faintest of sounds. No one to catch it, though.
Through.
Yes.
Well, didn't time that at all, but managed to get it away to the back.
Edged. Huge shout. The bowler seems very confident with that one. Yes, well taken in the slips.
It's the wicket they so...
And with that wicket... Couldn't have hit that any better.
Seemed very happy to take the boundary first up. Punched away nicely.
Yes. Got all of it, and for six.
Well, that was just textbook. Finds the space.
Yep. Ease through the field. There'll be runs here.
Yeah!
One of the easiest catches you'll see.
That was a real shame. That was a brilliant stage.
Lots away at that spot, time and again. That's a long way up. Is there anyone there to catch it? Fine catch by the wicket-keeper.
An innings that promised much.
It's a long way. Absolutely nailed it.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand.
Oh my, that's racing away.
The fielder could only pick that up off the bat.
Doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
It was one.
Got all of it, and for 6.
That's a brilliantly aggressive shot.
Immaculate timing there.
You can't fault that shot. Nicely played, and it was 4 runs.
A loose delivery, seen early, and it was dispatched.
Couldn't have played that any better.
No point running for that one. That was 4 off the bat. Beautiful.
Effortless. A gift, really. Floated it up there and dealt with.
A really good...
Too full. Got what it deserved.
That really wasn't a great delivery.
Huge shot. That's a massive shot. Just incredible. Perfect technique and placement.
Steered away nicely. Let the ball do all the work for them.
The batsman brings up their half-century.
That's a really good half-century. Ensure that the strike rate is maintained and is pushed on really, really well.
Absolutely nailed it.
Just missed the line, not the...
Flew away with pace. Brilliant timing.
Saw it from the moment it left the hand.
Playing, which they've managed. If they can find the right spot, the reward will eventually come.
That is an amazing half-crease so far. That shot brings up the half-century. Beautiful batting display, very solid.
That's gone all the way, right out of the middle.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand a little during the release. Ali didn't...
What great reactions. Brilliant catch close in. That's great fielding. That ball was flying.
Exquisitely down the front foot.
The innings wraps up with a very defendable total. It will need some good bowling. It certainly won't be the easiest total to chase. Few early boundaries will help settle things down. The bowlers will only need a sniff to get back in the game. There'll be 1 run here for them.
Just a little bit wide.
Wait
on. Yep.
Chance. Trouble. Oh, gone.
Oh dear, it's been a poor inning.
The crease. Great shot. Great timing.
Well, that was a really solid shot. Read the length.
Hit that hard. Nailed it.
Avoided the...
Thick edge.
Flashed at it. Didn't time it well, but...
Super piece of timing.
There was minimal follow-through, just great timing to...
Super shot.
Fine placement and enough timing to get that ball away.
Strong appeal. Diving across. Look for all money as if it was going through.
This innings...
That wicket, the new bat. Edged. They certainly don't feel like they've got anything on that, but almost every fielder is asking the question. Superb delivery.
An innings that promised all round.
With the fall of that wicket. Yes, picks the gap perfectly.
You just can't hit it any better than that. Drilled it.
Out! Yeah! What a catch!
A trudge back to the pavilion.
It's a long way. Nicely played.
Had to clear the front leg in order to get under the ball and...
That's right out of the middle of the bat.
Just perfection, a majestic shot.
Good bit of timing there.
That's what you pay the entrance money for. It's flown into the crowd. A brilliant shot.
Yes, great shot, but it's not going to beat the fielder.
There was a bit of width on that, and they've climbed into the shot to set.
Times it nicely.
Had all the time in the world to get in position to play that.
Right off the middle of the bat.
A really good 50 partnership. These two are looking strong. And it's...
A real beauty. Just times it so well.
Straight through the line of the...
Doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
There was minimal follow-through, just great time.
Yes. Got that away nicely.
This batter really is the key now. Picking up the boundaries when they need them. Just the sort of thing the team...
Same spot.
Yep. Well, it's a case of blink and you miss it with this innings. 50 brought up, and what a devastating passage of play it's been. Really good innings to bring up the half-century. Impressive batting, and they'll...
Picks up 50 with that shot. A great way to start their innings. Now's the time to push on. That shot brings up 50. Raises the bats and appreciation from the fans in the crowd.
Nice timing, good batting, won't get to the boundary. Out! What a catch.
Starting to get really interesting now. That's the 5th wicket, and
Pethlaqueo. Right out of the middle.
Managed to get onto the front foot early and just enforce the mistake.
Middle that one, great timing.
Off the front foot, hit it with all the power and elegance of a batter.
That's an unbelievable shot into the crowd.
That ball has been hit.
Oh my, that's just flown off the middle.
Well, that was just textbook. Finds the space.
Good bit of timing there.
This has been a masterclass. A great display of batting and bowling. They didn't let their opponents get a look.
That ended up being an easy win in the end, just staying ahead of the game all the way through. Goodbye from all of us in the commentary box, and see you soon. Good evening and welcome to our coverage from Trent Bridge. And with me, Ian Healy, and the Silver Fox himself, David Gower.
Thanks, Mike. Always a pleasure to sit alongside you. Earlier, I took a look at the conditions, and the pitch has been prepared beautifully, something for everyone. I'd say it's worth getting at the batters with the ball first, though. Beautiful clear conditions and not a chance of rain.
Brilliant work there from David Gower. We're going down to the middle now. The captains are ready for the toss.
Could have gone either way on that call, but I'd say bowling first is the sensible call. Put the batters under pressure early and hopefully get the breakthrough.
Nicely fielded on the boundary. There'll be one run here for them.
And with that, they're off the mark.
Yes. They'd look for a couple here.
Bowlers! A brilliant throw-in from the deep caps off what was...
Yes. Perfectly timed.
What a lovely shot. Really good timing. Out of the middle, and it raced to the boundary.
Right.
All the signs that they're reading the ball well. Guide.
Yes. Oh, faintest of sounds. No one to catch it, though.
Through.
Yes.
Well, didn't time that at all, but managed to get it away to the back.
Edged. Huge shout. The bowler seems very confident with that one. Yes, well taken in the slips.
It's the wicket they so...
And with that wicket... Couldn't have hit that any better.
Seemed very happy to take the boundary first up. Punched away nicely.
Yes. Got all of it, and for 6.
Well, that was just textbook. Finds the space.
Ease through the field. There'll be runs here. One of the easiest catches you'll see.
That was a real shame. That was a brilliant stage.
Lots away at that spot, time and again. That's a long way up. Is there anyone there to catch it? Fine catch by the wicket-keeper.
An innings that promised much.
It's a long way. Absolutely nailed it.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand.
Yeah. Oh my, that's racing away.
The fielder could only pick that up off the bat.
Doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
It was one.
Got all of it, and for 6.
That's a brilliantly aggressive shot.
Immaculate timing there.
You can't fault that shot. Nicely played, and it was 4 runs.
A loose delivery, seen early, and it was dispatched.
Couldn't have played that any better.
No point running for that one. That was 4 off the bat. Beautiful.
Effortless. A gift, really. Floated it up there and dealt with.
A really good...
Too full. Got what it deserved.
That really wasn't a great delivery.
Huge shot. That's a massive shot. Just incredible. Perfect technique and placement.
Steered away nicely. Let the ball do all the work for them.
The batsman brings up their half-century. That's a really good half-century. Ensure that the strike rate is maintained and is pushed on really, really well.
Absolutely nailed it.
Just missed the line, not the...
Flew away with pace. Brilliant timing.
Saw it from the moment it left the hand.
Playing, which they've managed. If they can find the right spot, the reward will eventually come.
That is an amazing half the crease so far. That shot brings up the half-century. Beautiful batting display, very solid.
That's gone all the way, right out of the middle.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand a little during the release. Ali didn't...
What great reactions. Brilliant catch close in. That's great fielding. That ball was flying.
Exquisitely down the front foot.
The innings wraps up with a very defendable total. It will need some good bowling. It certainly won't be the easiest total to chase. A few early boundaries will help settle things down. The bowlers will only need a sniff to get back in the game. There'll be 1 run here for them.
Just a little bit wide.
Wait on. Yep. Chance. Trouble. Oh, gone.
Oh dear, it's been a poor inning.
The crease. Great shot. Great timing.
Well, that was a really solid shot. Read the length.
Hit that hard. Nailed it.
Avoided the...
Thick edge.
Flashed at it. Didn't time it well, but...
Super piece of timing.
There was minimal follow-through, just great timing to...
Super shot.
Fine placement and enough timing to get that ball away.
Nicked it. Strong appeal. Diving across. Look for all money as if it was going through.
This innings...
That would get the new bat. Edged. A They certainly don't feel like they've got anything on that, but almost every fielder is asking the question. Superb delivery.
An innings that promised all round.
With the fall of that wicket. Yes, picks the gap perfectly.
You just can't hit it any better than that. Drills it.
Out! Yeah! What a catch!
A trudge back to the pavilion.
It's a long way. Nicely played.
Had to clear the front leg in order to get under the ball and...
That's right out of the middle of the bat.
Just perfection, a majestic shot.
Good bit of timing there.
That's what you pay the entrance money for. It's flown into the crowd. A brilliant shot.
Yes, great shot, but it's not going to beat the fielder.
There was a bit of width on that, and they've climbed into the shot to set.
Times it nicely.
Had all the time in the world to get in position to play that.
Right off the middle of the bat.
A really good 50 partnership. These two are looking strong. And it's...
A real beauty. Just times it so well.
Straight through the line of the...
Doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
There was minimal follow-through, just great time.
Yes. Got that away nicely.
This batter really is the key now. Picking up the boundaries when they need them. Just the sort of thing the team...
Same spot.
Well, it's a case of blink and you miss it with this innings. 50 brought up, and what a devastating passage of play it's been. Really good innings to bring up the half-century. Impressive batting, and they'll...
Picks up 50 with that shot. A great way to start their innings. Now's the time to push on. That shot brings up 50. Raises the bats, and appreciation from the fans in the crowd.
Nice timing, good batting, won't get to the boundary. Out! What a catch!
Starting to get really interesting now. That's the 5th wicket, and...
Right out of the middle.
Managed to get onto the front foot early and just enforce the mistake.
Middle that one, great timing.
Off the front foot, hit it with all the power and elegance of a batter.
That's an unbelievable shot into the crowd.
That ball has been hit.
Oh my, that's just flown off the middle.
Well, that was just textbook. Finds the space.
Good bit of timing there.
This has been a masterclass. A great display of batting and bowling. They didn't let their opponents get a look.
That ended up being an easy win in the end, just staying ahead of the game all the way through. Goodbye from all of us in the commentary box, and see you soon. Good evening and welcome to our coverage from Trent Bridge. And with me, Ian Healy, and the Silver Fox himself, David Gower.
Thanks, Mike. Always a pleasure to sit alongside you. Earlier, I took a look at the conditions, and the pitch has been prepared beautifully, something for everyone. I'd say it's worth getting at the batters with the ball first, though. Beautiful clear conditions and not a chance of rain.
Brilliant work there from David Gower. We're going down to the middle now. The captains are ready for the toss.
Could have gone either way on that call, but I'd say bowling first is the sensible call. Put the batters under pressure early and hopefully get the breakthrough.
Nicely fielded on the boundary. There'll be one run here for them.
And with that, they're off the mark.
Yes. They'd look for a couple here.
Bowlers! A brilliant throw-in from the deep, caps off what was a...
Yes. Perfectly timed.
What a lovely shot. Really good timing. Out of the middle, and it raced to the boundary. All the signs that they're reading the ball well. Guide.
Yes. Oh, faintest of sounds. No one to catch it, though.
Through.
Yes.
Oh, didn't time that at all, but managed to get it away to the back.
Edged. Huge shout. The bowler seems very confident with that one. Yes, well taken in the slips.
It's the wicket they so...
And with that wicket... Couldn't have hit that any better.
Seemed very happy to take the boundary first up. Punched away nicely.
Yes. Got all of it, and for six.
Well, that was just textbook. Finds the space.
Ease through the field. There'll be runs here. One of the easiest catches you'll see.
That was a real shame. That was a brilliant stage.
Lots away at that spot, time and again. That's a long way up. Is there anyone there to catch it? Fine catch by the wicket-keeper.
An innings that promised much.
It's a long way. Absolutely nailed it.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand.
Oh my, that's racing away.
The fielder could only pick that up off the bat.
Doesn't want to bowl it there. Overpitched and helped to the boundary.
It was one.
Got all of it, and for six.
That's a brilliantly aggressive shot.
Yes. Immaculate timing there.
You can't fault that shot. Nicely played, and it was 4 runs.
A loose delivery, seen early, and it was dispatched.
Couldn't have played that any better.
No point running for that one. That was 4 off the bat. Beautiful.
Effortless. A gift, really. floated it up there and dealt with.
A really good...
Yes. Too full. Got what it deserved.
That really wasn't a great delivery.
Yes. Huge shot. That's a massive shot. Just incredible. Yeah. Perfect technique and placement.
Steered away nicely. Let the ball do all the work for them.
Yep.
The batsman brings up their half-century. That's a really good half-century. Ensure that the strike rate is maintained and is pushed on really, really well.
Yeah. Absolutely nailed it.
Just missed the line, not the...
Flew away with pace. Brilliant timing.
Saw it from the moment it left the hand.
Playing, which they've managed. If they can find the right spot, the reward will eventually come.
That is an amazing crease so far. That shot brings up the half-century. Beautiful batting display, very solid.
That's gone all the way, right out of the middle.
Perhaps that slipped out of the hand a little during the release. Ali didn't...
Yep. What great reactions. Brilliant catch close in. That's great fielding. That ball was flying.
Exquisitely down the front footed.
The innings wraps up with a very defendable total. It will need some good bowling. It certainly won't be the easiest total to chase. A few early boundaries will help settle things down. The bowlers will only need a sniff to get back in the game. Yeah. There'll be one run here for them.
Just a little bit wide.
Wait on. Yep. Chance. Yeah! Trouble. Oh, gone.
Oh dear, it's been a poor inning.
The crease. Yes. Great shot. Great timing.
Well, that was a really solid shot. Read the length.
Catch! Hit that hard. Nailed it.
Avoided the...
Yes. Thick edge.
Flashed at it. Didn't time it well, but...
Yes. Super piece of timing.
There was minimal follow-through, just great timing to...
Super shot.
Fine placement and enough timing to get that ball away.
Nicked it. Strong appeal. Diving across. Look for all money as if it was going through.
This innings...
That wicket, the new batter. Edged. They certainly don't feel like they've got anything on that, but almost every fielder is asking the question. Superb delivery.
An innings that promised all round.
With the fall of that wicket. Yes. Picks the gap perfectly.
You just can't hit it any better than that. Drilled it.